Pick is it? Who is it full forward for the Dogs? It might even be Grant at full forward for the Dogs, is it?
Well, it's a good move. Clearly they're trying to find a way to get more out of more people in the forward line.
Yeah, it is Grant at full forward. Hurdy starting in the square. It's coming his way now. Here's Morris, an opportunity to Grant. Down there, Reid is his direct opponent. Has been in some recent good form. Here is Harry O'Brien. Went hard, Jolly. Went without the ball. Opportunity for Tuvey now to just tidy it up. And here is Reid. That's Ben Reid, of course. Shaw's first touch. Pendlebury has a really nice change of direction. And here's the former St. Ball. The running ability of Pendlebury. The kick is fantastic. Dynak.
Great kick, and that's the movement that Collingwood had earlier in the year. The movement through the lines, quick movement to set up your small forwards, and Dydak's just an excellent lead. Luke Ball and Cross will be a great battle. Both guys very good inside as the ball comes out to Pendlebury, and that's a beautiful kick. You can't hope for much more than that as a forward leading up the ground. Got it
the furthest point away from the defender and possible reach, didn't he? Here is Dydak. Normally very, very good. Comes in and no mistake there. Collingwood get the first goal of this big game.
Just the start that Collingwood wanted, Jared. And interestingly, talking to Rodney Eade before the game, he seemed tenser than I've seen him before a game in a long time. He realises how important this is for the Dogs. That's the start they wouldn't have wanted.
No, and I think he'd be disappointed because the structure he set up with in the first minute should have worked and should have produced a goal. Yep. All the players were up the ground. They got the quick exit out of the middle, and Grant just had to be reading it better and get onto it and then be able to handball to a player running at their goal.
In the pre-game, we probably left out Harry O'Brien, how important he is as a rebounding backman, because he was the one that cut that play off and got the ball out and got that movement started.
Do you subscribe to the theory that Presty isn't as good away from the goal square?
Oh, I think you play him on your best forward, but if Hall wouldn't want to move up too far up the ground for Presty to, Presty likes it back.
I think they like him as deep as they can possibly get him. Sometimes you don't get it on your own terms, though. Opportunity now for the Dogs with a clearance. Harry O'Brien, a really resilient player who doesn't possess any great skills but just has a great competitiveness about him. Kick out wide to Ball, who's already got a couple of touches. So is this man Pendlebury. That wasn't one of his best, but was under pressure. See Josh Fraser there. Williams in front did well. Ball clobbered in the Morris tackle. Did he work him into the ground? No. Holding the ball, said the umpire.
Interesting matchup on Heath Shaw. They're going with Jen Syracuse, so clearly they want to make Shaw accountable by giving the ball to Jen Syracuse, and he can drag him away.
Razor Ray Chamberlain, the man in charge there. The whistle. Here's Grant with a steal. Hall in a bit of traffic. Now Griffin. Pervasively did all right on his non-preferred side. Grant can run onto this. Smacks it forward. He just needs to regain clean possession. A little stumble kick and missed a great opportunity. Still in it. Hard. Around the body snap. Missed.
Look, and it was good play by Grant until his last execution. He was involved in the play around half forward. Then up here, that was poor, but probably due to nerves early in the game. But the ability to get the ball in one contest, run through, win it again, was impressive, and not a bad start by Grant.
Tried to be a little cute too, Grant. Just nursed it onto the boot.
Interesting though, he ran past, he ran past 4 Collingwood players who'd set up a line.
Yeah. Sorry, boys, just going to say, Collingwood loaded up their forward line with tools. So they've gone Fraser, Lee, Brown and Cloak all on their forward line, which is an interesting start.
Yeah, it would surprise them, Pickers. You're quite right. Normally, most sides would think they're going to go small with the abundance they have in that area. Here's Lee Brown, one of the players into the Collingwood side this week. You talk about the tools. Doing some part-time assistant coaching with the Calder Cannons. Lee Brown, Griffin, Harbrow. Just had to hoist the ball high to the wing, but Shaw's going to get back and take the mark.
And that's where Syracuse has to be better there, Jared, making sure that Shaw is kept accountable when he's going for the ball.
Thomas on the head of Davis. Davis eyes for the ball. Outmarked in front by Harbrow.
Well, I guess it's getting the balance right. Jen Syracuse got an early possession, which resulted in that kick going to Shaw. So he's going to rely heavily on blokes kicking it, not to him.
Josh Hill, too agile for Jolly, and a beautiful kick, and Grant's been prominent early. Here's Higgins, a man they need firing this week on the back of not such a good game last week. Barry Hall and Presty Giacomo. Hall fierce at the ball, gave away the free to Tuvey. And the advantage rule set in motion. Pendlebury, 4 disposals already in the first 3.5 minutes of this one. Crowd slightly disappointing, still in the high 40s, but you would expect a Collingwood home game. A few more perhaps. You can see Barry Hall there just giving away that free. Tuvey, there's some traffic around the corner. Collingwood go inside their 50 yet again. Here's Gilby. Was it high from Leon Davis? It was.
Got the matchup you wanted, BT. Gilby on Didac. And a good tackle, but geez, it was arguably legal.
Legal from this position.
As Lindsay Gilby has averaged 80% efficiency by foot for most of his career. Just an outstanding user of the ball. Here's the new boy, Brody Moles. Game number 5 for him. Tried to do a bit much. Here's Davis. This is the goal assist thing I talk about. The opportunity. Cloak should have really marked that.
Could he have gone all the way, BT?
Could have gone a bit further.
No, Davis, I think he actually should have backed himself and actually gone for goals. I know you talk about goal assist, but he could have gone all the way there and kicked a nice goal.
It was the perfect kick that was in the waiting hands of Cloak, and he didn't mark it, so I would have thought that option was pretty good as well. Here's Cross. At the back, Kearney. Well, James, you can sit there and look at me funny, but when it's delivered to you, palms out, you've got to grab it. Wallingham, did he throw it?
He looked at it, right?
Did. Be scrappy passage of play, this one. Thomas committed. Hahn there. Boyd, desperate. Hill did well to extract it in the end, but look at the black and white jumpers about. Now Didac. This is wide to Davis. Harbrow infringes this time.
And already pretty clear that Harry O'Brien is a major factor for Rodney Eade to think about. It's only 5 minutes into the match. He's had 5 possessions. He runs with the ball. And he has stifled them a number of times already.
Definite free kick there. He can't chop or push the guy in the back.
Can go the journey with his best, but you would think it's right on the limits of his capabilities. Near the boundary line. A confronting task for any player from here. Lessens the angle somewhat, gets a bit of leverage on the ball. And just to the near side.
Who of you is O'Brien's on Grant, you think, Jared?
Yep.
So Grant has to be more accountable and actually be more dangerous to keep Harry O'Brien honest and not let him sit off as much. I mean, he's still sitting off Jared Grant a fair bit at the moment.
He's very much in the guarding space, is Harry, and the way to close him down is to kick it straight to Grant like that, but the kick not absolutely spot on, and Harry will end up with it.
It's almost 3-on-1 in that situation in the Bulldogs.
Did really well, Harry O'Brien. Kick not such a good thing, but he staved off the Bulldog attack. Umpire said on the full then.
Gene Siracusa dragging short as deep as possible.
Here he goes, Gene Siracusa. Got back and helped Presti Giacomo. That left Hall free. Look at the spinning pirouette. The typical modern ball along the ground misses.
Collingwood quite happy to just to sit defenders back. Western Bulldogs currently just having 2 players in their forward line, outnumbered 2-5 at the moment, and interesting setup with Collingwood being so good at rebounding out of their back line.
It's a confidence build, that one for Josh Fraser. Brilliant kick.
Lee Brown, you hear the umpire saying he held him around the waist. Speaking to Brian Lake, a couple of changes early for Collingwood. Fraser, one of those, back into the side today for Collingwood. And there's the infringement against Lee Brown. Here's Cloak. Pick it up off his laces. Minson, fast hands, put Griffin under some pressure. Stack did really well in heavy traffic. Good play, the Dogs. Harbrow wrong-sided on his right, so he straightened up with his familiar left and straight away again, Jared.
Already the Bulldogs need to restructure their forward line and use the ball better coming in.
There goes Davis, elevates and over the top.
If they continue to leave Harry O'Brien sitting free across half-back, he'll just keep doing that all day. O'Brien already 4 bounces and 2 contested possessions for the day and really dominating across half-back line.
Game 51 for Addison. He misses that one up, gives it to Swan, and here's Davis.
He started well, BT, your man. He's had his, I think that's his 4th disposal and using the ball well.
Plays on, a little right foot tickler. He could have gone in further. Lee Brown was there for the Shepherd. Why he didn't, I don't know.
Too often, though, they've been the authors of their own demise here, though. The Bulldogs, they're kicking off that half-back line. We saw that one from Addison, the other one from Harbrow. I mean, that was just a get it out of my area. Let's let somebody else worry about it kick.
The Harbrow matchup suits Leon because he gives you a bit of latitude, Hurdy, but also I reckon what Davis needs is a bit more time in the rotations. He doesn't get enough time to get into it. He's that sort of player that requires a couple more minutes.
And he's been very good so far this game, so I tend to agree with that. But Collingwood are the most rotating team in the competition. They must sit their game plan, but I think Davis coming back in after a week off would benefit from having more time on the ground.
He probably won't get it, as you say, because they rotate heavily, but I think that's something he's would like. Look at Harry O'Brien, the stats there already. You look at him, 8 disposals, Gerard, you're all over that.
Well, I think Brendan Stack needs to have a bit of a look at that last kick. That wasn't even VFL standard.
Here he is again, so he's got an opportunity here to show some of his skill. Hahn on the short lead was really good. He was desperate to get it. No knock there, said the umpire.
Nice defence from Reid.
Wellingham's kick out in the direction of Cooney. He accelerates away from the contest. A driving ball, Minson in front, and Hill takes it.
Well, it's well done by the big ruckman as well, because he did cover for him, big Will Minson. And Hill just floated in. He would have heard him coming, at least I hope he heard him coming by virtue of the voice. And he backs back with confidence.
It's the lack of poise perhaps shown there by the Pies. Hill, as a result, will try and make them pay. Only about 25 metres out. There's the angle. And he gets the Bulldogs' first goal of the match. Josh Hill.
Nice rebound work. We saw Adam Cooney grabbing a contested mark. And there's the punch. And from that position, they should have been able to clear it, the Pies. But the kick was intercepted and straight back in. And that's when backlines are at their most vulnerable. On that rebound, and the turnover has cost Collingwood a goal.
It looks like that was Harry O'Brien's man, just trying to work out the zones. It's hard, and that's how you keep Harry accountable. I mean, he's been terrific off half back, but they have to make sure that if he is going to lay off, they do kick goals on him, because that's the way you hurt your defender if he's not going to man you up.
Just had a gentleman approach me at a function last night from Melbourne Football Club saying that the umpire mics that we hear in the background were the umpires' advisors in the stands talking to the umpires. That doesn't happen anymore. That fourth voice you can hear, if you like, is the emergency umpire telling the field umpires from the bench what's going on and what to be aware of if there's something happening behind the ball. Here is Reid, just to explain that if you are hearing that.
Good pressure here from the Bulldogs.
The bulldozer got it to cross. Left footer, little chippish for Hall. Minson will get a free here. Fraser had hold of his jumper.
Gerard, you mentioned great pressure, and that's exactly what the Bulldogs have to do to win this game. Collingwood love to set up the game across half-back. Minson here, we see the free kick. Very small grab of the jumper that was definitely there, but if you put pressure, as we see this again, and just a slight tug of the jumper, you put pressure on O'Brien, Shaw, Maxwell, doesn't matter who you are, under pressure your skills aren't as good. If Western Bulldogs will win this game, their run and tackle out of attack needs to be the best it's been.
There's 2 goals for the year from his 7 games so far. In his 99th game, gee, made that look awkward. There you go, Fraser went over the mark.
That's a double shocker from Josh. Firstly, the grab of the jumper. I mean, it's so innocuous. You've just got to train yourself not to fall for that nonsense.
Especially when Minson had missed the goal.
Yep.
And now a certain goal. Gee, he nearly missed that one as well. Big Will, but the Dogs have got their second.
Yeah, it's a poor mistake by Josh Fraser. But Kevin Sheedy used to always talk about schoolboy football. Don't play schoolboy football. And hanging on to the jumper for that short amount of time is schoolboy lazy football. You've got to be better than that. Get your body in front and stop the ruck and running forward. But this goal is about Western Bulldogs' pressure across the half-forward line. It comes down to the pressure they put on Swan and O'Brien across the half-back line.
Consecutive goals for the Dogs. Josh Fraser back into the Collingwood side this week. Has found it tough to get back in with Jolly playing, and Wood has played in a couple of games where he's been absent, of course, originally out through injury. Spent a number of weeks playing in the VFL. Beautiful palm down by Fraser to Swan. Ball trying to muscle his way out of there. Griffin, I thought, didn't have it. Higgins now. Got it to Boyd. Did really well. Strength Boyd got him out of that. Wheels around. Here's Stack and Tuvey.
BT, what do you think of the Bulldogs set up now with Barry Hall starting high, going wide, and then working his way back to full forward.
Well, it takes the focus off having to kick the ball to him, doesn't it, Jared? And it means that it gives the opportunity for a smaller player to lead up and present up, and Hall to get in there for the longer kick as a second option rather than a first option, which means he won't require as much ball or get as much ball directed his way. I think it's great. Didak finds side bottom. Sort of a benign opening in terms of the crowd involvement in this game.
Crowd hasn't got involved, has it? I think it's mainly a Collingwood crowd, and they haven't probably lifted the heights that the crowd would have liked.
There's only one man that can stir that up, James. We know about the number one for Collingwood. Can liven things up here with something mercurial. Addison, in the meantime, battles. Wellingham, fast hands Collingwood. Here's Cloak, needs it to sit up. He's got it to go. He walks into the goal. And Cloak kicks the second for Collingwood.
Well, there's a really clean handball just in really tight space there. I think it was Wellingham. We'll go back to it. That's what created this goal, because he handballed it inside, and then there was a nice little Joe the Goose over the top. Let's just have a look at how this unfolds. There's a bit of tackling pressure, and there's little Wellingham. Just slips it out, and then the nice one over the top. And Travis Cloak runs on to the easiest of goals. Here's another look at it. Didak working hard. It just falls into his lap. Bang, inside. And then Pendlebury squirts it over the top.
Well, he's got the big job, Jared Wellingham. He's running with Cooney tonight, and we know that Cooney's a match winner for the Bulldogs. So, big job.
Good start.
Cloak's first goal in 3 weeks, so that'll do no end of good for his confidence. And Morris just caught out off the gold side. He's a great defender, Morris, and here's the contest again.
Wellingham again, Jared, in the thick of it there. Here's Gilby. Wins the hard ball, looking for the give and go. They really like it in his hands because of this sort of stuff. Have a look at that. That is dynamite. Don't give me 60%, James Hird, when we talk Lindsay Gilby. Here's Stack.
Good tackle.
It was 3-on-1 Collingwood's way. Grant, the tenacious cross. Ball is corralled. Side bottom with a smother. That would have hurt, I'd imagine.
Barry Hill coming for a rest. He's had a good start, Pickers. That's a great
He
kick,
has.
isn't
His
it?
work rate's been really good, Jared. And, yeah, they rotating. It's like Burke Street down here, both sides.
And your man is back on, BT.
Well,
Crowd's just a little bit more excited now. Leon's back on.
Looks stock standard there for Gilby, that one that you mentioned, Hurdy, but gee, it was dynamite. Here's Williams. He's got a really good run. He's had interrupted seasons of past with injury, but this year he's able to bring string games back to back. There is the igniter, Leon Davis. And of course Tom Williams, doing some part-time work at Fox Sports. Hasn't been of the greatest work ethic, but nevertheless he's turned up. Here's Cooney.
And that's the kick, though. That's the kick that Cooney's got to get better. He had Higgins over the top as a free man. You've got to kick it the favoured side, and it does make a massive difference. That kick goes to the right side, it's a shot at goal, and Higgins, they're totally out of position because of the Cooney kick.
Lake and Medhurst is an interesting matchup by the Bulldogs.
Cross. Boyd once again able to just brush the jolly tackle. Deep they go. Grant did well to keep it alive. Who recovers first? Grant with a little soccer. Probably didn't have time to pick it up.
How important it is to break the tackle. You see Boyd there. If he had got the ball and just kicked it, it drops 20 metres short of his able to get past the tackle and then put it into a dangerous position. Terrific play by Boyd.
Gee, he looks lively, Jared
He does,
Grant.
yeah.
Looks like he's going to do something to me. The Pies again. Didak takes Pickett on, and he got caught.
Great play, Pickett.
Williams now waiting for the troops to arrive, really. Pickett was there, but there's the tattooed beams from 50. Took the extra step. And they agree with you, Jared.
Yeah, just a little bit too far. I think he got a little bit caught out. He's going to handball to Didak. Then he decided to go himself.
Yeah.
But this is the tackle, and it's a real challenge for Alan Didak. He doesn't enjoy the tightest of tags.
He's sort of not sure what he was trying to do there, Jared. He had Bulldogs all around him after taking the mark. He should have just steadied and cut back inside.
Harbrow with a loose handball, but Hahn was able to break the tackle again, so not sticking at the moment, the tackles.
And Jared Harbrow, he needs to settle a little bit, because when he has had the footy, he's given it straight back a couple of times.
Mind getting a look at the tackles when we get an opportunity in this game, because that is going to be a barometer for both of the sides, really, but in particular Collingwood.
And there's Medhurst back in the side tonight.
17-10 at the moment in favour of the Pies.
The Pies were very good rounds 1 to 8, BT, second in the competition, but the last 2 rounds have dropped down to 15th. So it's an area of the game that they traditionally have been very, very good in. Just a bit off the last couple of weeks.
Would they have definitely spoken about that in-house?
I think so. I think so. It's been in the papers. It's been highlighted, so I'd say they would have.
Here's Swan to Jolly. I'm not sure I would have gone with that one myself. Brown now. This is a better option. Pendlebury. I reckon they forgot he was a left footer. Gets it inside. Couldn't mark it, Beams. Here's Leon. Dynamite around the corner. Couldn't get the length in the kick.
Geez, the turnovers are racking up for both sides. We saw Lake and then we saw Pendlebury, but that was magnificent defensive work by Nathan Eagleton.
Higgins, Maxwell on the charge, gives it to Thomas. Thought only about giving it to a teammate.
Western Bulldogs player over the far side in the pocket, looking into, not sure who it is, BT. But that was a poor kick out of the back line there to turn the ball over again.
Higgins, it is Hurdy in a little bit of trouble off the ball.
And that was his disappointing kick. As you said, Jared, the turnovers just racking up, and goals from turnovers are stats you don't want to be high in.
Sherrod Wellingham, the West Australian, as that is not a good picture. Higgins, one of the class players for the Dogs, coming off, and that lacked any confidence and direction and didn't hit the wooden post. As you could hear from our effects mic, that's an aluminium post.
Go as far to say, Jared, that the side that starts kicking the ball properly, I know there's pressure, I know it's a big game, and the guys under pressure being chased down. So Higgins coming off with an injury looks very bad, but the side that kicks the ball better this game will almost win it.
Right now, I think it's a significant upside for both teams. I'm not sure they're kicking it under that much pressure, giving it away. Well, Brian Lake wasn't under pressure. No.
There's Harbrow. What do you think, Pickers, coming towards you, Higgins?
Well, I'll have a good look at him, Jared. Sorry, BT, but just thinking about the way that they're setting up here, the Pies. That's a putrid kick, that one. But they're really struggling with the Collingwood rolling zone here, lads.
Yeah. I want to do a quarter time, Pickers. Can we get a look at the footies? Because neither side is kicking the ball well at all.
Just on Higgins, has had ankle problems in the past as well, and that appears what Gary Zimmerman and Josh Landsberger are looking after.
That's
there
not the footy, Hurdy. That wasn't the footy.
These two teams don't kick. There's some Pendlebury kicked that.
Yes,
he's an extremely skilled player.
That's not the footy. He's kicked it 2 metres into somebody.
We want an inquiry into the footballs, Jared.
Oh, we tried that while you were away in Paris, Hurdy. It didn't get up. BT had a good look at it. And 1 millimetre out of absolutely perfect doesn't mean for a dud ball.
No, just these ones tonight.
Picken over the line, and we'll throw it in. Collingwood forward end of the ground. And you can see the bench there. You can see just in the background, Higgins being attended to by Gary Zimmerman and Sue Courtley, the physio and doctor. And here's what happened. Higgins just turning that ankle inside. So definitely a left ankle problem for Higgins. They'll tape that and he'll get back out there, I'm sure.
And look at the turf shifting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Thomas. Johnson knew that the tackle was coming. Did well to get it to Thomas. Look at that. Shaw intelligently waited for Thomas to come back into the field of play. And a partial decapitation by Minson on Pendlebury.
Pickett's a very good point about the rolling zone, and Western Bulldogs are not handling that at all well. What would you do if you were the Western Bulldogs in the way they're moving the ball to counter that?
Well, I reckon what they need to do, Hurdy, is they need to get the ball in the hands of the players like the Ryan Griffiths and actually carry it over the zone. I think the most dangerous they've looked is when the ball's been in Higgins' hands and maybe a Lindsay Gilbey type. So they need to release a few of those type of players.
Darren Jolly, long way out. Got my doubts about this one, but he looks like he's very deliberate over the top of it. He would know his capabilities better than anyone. Crowd watches in anticipation. Great close-up there from our Fox Sports cameras. As Jolly comes in, good-looking ball, hasn't quite got the journey covered. And once again, that ground shifting under Cloak there in his attempt to mark. He had a bit of a look at it.
Well, I suspect in an effort to soften up the ground, what they've done is soften up the top 3 inches.
It's quite, it is quite moist if you walk on the ground out there. And this is where the Bulldogs need to run and bounce and move it, as Pickers talked about, and get it through this rolling zone. Play on, give the handball, get it over the top.
Got the feeling about this one, going to be tight all day.
And that's just a bad kick.
Yeah, it's a bad option.
Gene Syracuse ran into a good spot, but the ball had to go beyond Maxwell.
Yeah, you're right. It's got to go 5 metres the other side of Junior Cruiser. That makes it a 70-metre kick, though, which off a standing start is not easy.
Taking the option, I guess.
Good ball to Reid. A trio of Collingwood players out there could raffle it. I'm sure there was a lot of talk amongst them as now Reid strolls down that City wing. Cloak is the target. Out positioned, here's Leon. Through some traffic. Did it brilliantly. Weaves around, high ball on the head of Brown. It may come over the top. Couldn't mark it, Jolly.
Here it comes.
Here's Leon again to get his own kick. And a free kick to Boyd.
It's almost junior footy stuff. BT, kick it and then go and get it yourself.
It was. Look at the numbers of Bulldog players sitting behind the ball up in there. 5 of them sitting behind the ball.
And that's why they're struggling to get it through, because their direct opponents, the Pies, they've got half a dozen extras the other end of the ground.
It always amazes me that when the umpire says come in and give him an extra 2 metres. Why? You put yourself in that position. Ever wondered about that, Hurdy?
I am going to wonder about it now.
Thanks. Here's Johnson.
Bring it up on the couch tomorrow night, BT, as to why that happens.
Yeah, why? There's no rule in it. The umpire's saying it's just good manners to give them an extra couple of metres because they haven't got a long enough run-up. This is senior football. Here's Beams. Just over a minute remaining in the quarter. And Higgins inside the rooms, exclusive cameras, Fox Sports. You can see the doctor and physio working on him and definitely putting the bootstrapping on to get him back out. Beans too close to the man on the mark.
It's the ball.
Just got to allow a couple of extra steps in your run-up as a basic sort of ploy when you're set shotting. Here's Cross.
Geez, he did that well, Cross. He bought some time. He ended up keeping, well, not totally keeping possession, but not losing it. If he had just given a willy-nilly handball, it would have just been a major turnover.
I think Mitch Hahn has to look at his positioning, Jared. He's not positioning himself for that next kick. He's sometimes they need a get-out option that's not Barry Hall. And Mitch Hahn has to be that guy at centre forward.
See the big chunk of turf in front of that umpire. Leon takes a wonderful mark in front of Harbrow, and he has started very, very well in a big game.
I reckon BT might have had a word to Leon before the game, because he has started exceptionally well and has been the energy up on the Collingwood forward line so far this quarter.
What I do know is the family is here watching Leon today. I'm sure Nancy and Trev have travelled from Perth, but certainly the South Australian part of the family are all here. And Davis.
At 20 now, Leon must kick within 10 seconds.
Hear the umpire's call there. Must kick within 10 seconds. Once you start the run-up approach, they'll never call play on, though. Siren sounds. Kick on the way is a goal. And I think a 50-metre penalty to go with it. But Davis has kicked the goal anyway. And Collingwood in front at quarter time by 7 points. Mick Malthouse, he's all business as he walks out to address his team. This is a cracker. Stay with us. Twilight Football, live and exclusive on Fox Sports.
One, two, 1, 2, Radio 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's 4.
PT, he doesn't look too flash with that left ankle, obviously, so I'm not convinced we'll see him again this evening.
I'm with you on seeing those pictures just there.
And I think BT, the Bulldogs have a right to be upset, because that's the turf. Yep. That's nothing more than the turf moving under his feet.
Start of the second quarter. We might get another look of it in this quarter, Hurdy, just to check that aspect out if we can, and Cross an opportunity. Collingwood by 7. Start of the second. Here's Eagleton. Bundled over the ball. And Collingwood on target for around about 80 tackles in this game, which is what they aim for. Maxwell.
And that's a classic Collingwood play. Maxwell ends up with Dane Swan kicking the ball in the forward line.
Swan to Cloak, who had to come at the ball. Did well. Look at the numbers. 4-on-1 for the Dogs there. Great sign. Boyd has done that about 3 or 4 times in this game.
Very strong player and very hard to tackle.
He'll want the give and go. Gilby. Stack took his eye off the ball momentarily. Gave Didak a sniff. In comes ball. Wellingham involved. An unusual looking handball. So was that one. Here's Lake. Went low. Had a Collingwood player coming at him, and a lot of pressure out there at the moment. A lot of mistakes being made. Now, Higgins did his ankle in the first quarter. Talking about the shifting turf, let's have a look. Absolutely. Look at the divot and the shift of that turf. You are quite right. That's pretty dramatic sort of vision, Hurdy. It
is, and you'd be disappointed. Injuries are a part of footy. I think everyone accepts injuries, but when they're a result of the turf moving like that, you'd have to be disappointed as a Bulldogs player. But on with the game, just watch Dane Swan, the last passes of play, got the ball at half-back, then got it again at half-forward, then involved to get it at half-forward, all in the space of 1 minute. That's why he's a fantastic player, because his involvement in the play works so hard to get involved as much as possible.
Moles couldn't get both hands on the ball. Cross kept it alive, but Brown, and once again that man Swan combining, goes wide with a kick. Cloak committed, and now Morris. Did he have it? Over the back, Pickin. They're under pressure, though, the Dogs in their back half at the moment. Cooney surrounded by Collingwood players.
Right.
Here's Hill.
This is the kick that has to get right, BT. The kick that haven't been working out very well.
Now Eagleton got no one deep, so he has to hold the ball. That was deliberate. Now he goes long, still no one there, so he gave players time to get there as much as he could anyway, and still no Dog player could find themselves deep.
They've got to work through their kicking better going into their forward 50. They're really struggling and being let down by the disposal over the arc into that forward 50.
McCaffer coughed up the ball there. They overdid it a little bit, Collingwood. Great smother to redeem himself, McCaffer. Gives Didak a chance. Can work the ball inboard to Ball. He does, and now Ball to Brown. Brown in front. Nice grab. 60 metres out, too far to score. Horrible kick. Cloak on the lead again. Got another difficult bouncing ball. Here's side bottom. Keeps it alive in front. The dangerous Davis around the corner, Jolly.
And therein lies the difference between both sides. At one end of the ground, you've got a couple of inexperienced players like a Stack who don't quite seem to understand when they've got to defend and when they've got to attack. Harry O'Brien is playing him on a break, and yet here's Eagleton, an experienced player, frustrated. It had to go shorter to a G and Syracusa. And at the other end of the ground, they just went forward, and they have basically just set up a man. It's Darren Jolly going forward, and he gets it on the chest.
You're right, Jared. The vision there was terrific.
Darren Jolly, good-looking set shot kick as well. So Collingwood get the first of the second quarter here, and they lead it by 13 points.
They're going to get some more intelligentsia, if you like, Hurdy, in their forward line. And I reckon Cooney is the man to go forward. Yeah. He's, at this stage, he's struggling through the middle of the ground. He's getting his possessions, but he's not having any real impact on the game. He's only kicked the ball inside 50 on one occasion.
Yeah, and look, side bottom, terrific pick-up. Jolly had been sitting in that free spot, I think, for about 45 minutes. No one went anywhere near him. But Leon Davis's pass is a terrific pass, shows the value of Davis in the forward line. Collingwood just have more system when they move forward. And you're right, smarter players moving the ball into their forward 50.
That match up there, I think, works in favour of Collingwood. Harbrow, I know, has been fantastic this year for the Dogs, but I just reckon he takes some chances in running off, which then, of course, exposes Davis to the turnover.
Well, what they're not getting, BT, is they're not getting Harbrow's run as they would like. You can give away some possessions to Leon Davis if you get the run from Harbrow that you have in the last few weeks.
Centre square infringement against the Pies here at centre half-back, so Cooney's got the resultant free.
Yeah, Beams grabbed hold of him underneath the ball.
Kick goes forward, Maxwell. Got rid of Minson, now Pendlebury. Back to McCaffer. Cloak is a long way up from his centre half forward post. Drives it long. Good ball. Here's Lee Brown. Kept it in front, did well. Should have got a free if he didn't mark it. Side bottom sets it up for Didak. That is a wonderful kick from Steele side bottom. And Didak says, thanks, mate.
And it was his handball that went to Leon Davis that got the goal in the last bit of play. Don't underestimate Lee Brown here. He might not have marked the ball, but bringing the ball to ground, making it obvious where it was going to land for side bottom, and a really, really smart kick. He does it. He just continues to impress side bottom with his intelligence around the ball.
Started as the rebound, though, with Maxwell, the skipper, getting it across half-back. And just on looking at that Bulldogs forward line, geez, they miss Brad Johnson so much.
From their 4 goal kickers so far, Collingwood, they are all different. The spread is already on the go as Didak is as straight as he ever is. He gets his second goal.
And that's the Pies have kicked the last 4. Jared, you make a very good point. Not only have they missed Brad Johnson the way he's been playing, but the Acker of last year. I know he's been controversial, Acker, but Acker's last year, maybe he's past it, but his football last year adds another dimension. He's not at that stage. Lee Brown, I've liked his last 2 efforts at the ball. He's added something, as again, side bottom. But the Pies are about to break the game open unless the Bulldogs can start. They're getting enough of the ball. They're just not moving it into their forward line well enough. They need to work out a system or, as you said, get the ball in the hands of Griffin, get the ball in the hands of Cooney, guys who can really run and deliver the ball in an intelligent way.
Gee, that was a degree of difficulty kick from side bottom. It's
great.
It was brilliant.
Fantastic.
But it does come back to Maxwell. Now, if Maxwell's playing on a Brad Johnson rather than Will Minson, it's a different result. Now, right now, Brad Johnson may not play again. We don't know. His Achilles tendon's gone from a 2-week injury to a 2-month injury, and maybe it could even be worse. And having this bloke, Sean Higgins, off the ground is compounding the issue.
Well, Pickers, all of a sudden, I don't know whether you saw that vision down there then of Higgins walking up, but all of a sudden he looks just a bit better.
He's a bit ginger still, but he's moving okay. He'll be back on the ground, I reckon, shortly. He's just giving it a real test at the moment. They've re-strapped that ankle, but still doesn't look right. But I reckon they might have to get him back out there for that half-forward issue that they've got.
Cloak has been good as well. And a free kick to Leon Davis. So wouldn't they love that, Collingwood people, especially Malthouse and co. Cloak getting plenty of it. This man Davis about to kick his 2nd goal.
They're going to make a move there, BT. I don't think that matchup's working at all well for the Western Bulldogs. And that man on screen isn't getting enough of the ball to justify Leon now having his 3rd shot at goal and possibly his 2nd goal.
Davis comes in directly in front. He won't miss this. Kicks his 2nd goal. Collingwood have now kicked 5 in a row, and they lead it by 25 points.
Well, if you didn't know what the score was at quarter time, I reckon you would have said that Collingwood were 25 points up. I think what we're seeing now just reflects the dominance that they had in the first quarter. And, well, Harbrow, he's, I think, rightly, would be considered one of the premier back pockets of the competition. Certainly had a terrific year, but he is getting towed up completely tonight.
All Australian year, Jared. Harbrow.
Yep.
Look, and he still had 10 possessions, so we're probably being a bit hard on him. But when your opponent has 3 shots at goal, your first job as a backman is to stop them kicking goals.
Yeah, I think possessions for back pockets and full backs need to be taken with a grain of salt. I mean, they can get 3 or 4 in one transition of the footy.
I think we're going to see in the next 15 minutes how good this Western Bulldogs side is and how much they think they're a premiership chance, because the start of the year they were the side we're all talking about. This is a massive rest of the quarter, rest of the game for the Western Bulldogs.
Well, Rodney Eads reacted. He's put Grant across half back, which has left Barry Hall deep with 2 blokes on him. One, of course, is Heath Shaw. So he knows what's at stake here. Heath Shaw now hasn't got an opponent.
See the back row there in the white shirt. David Butterfin, the sports science man, directly wide into the coaches. He's the man pulling the strings in terms of rotations and times. One of the most highly regarded in the competition. Cloak dropping an opportunity there.
And Cross didn't mark that ball, but don't underestimate how much Cloak saw Cross just coming across his vision, and that puts off Cloak's attempt at mark there. Terrific courage. You don't get rewarded, you don't get a possession, but the way he went back to the flight of ball, Cross has been doing that his whole career, and it's terrific.
Jolly doing the ruck work. The Dogs under enormous pressure. They're 25 down, and the ball is in their back half a lot. Harry O'Brien. Bit of a hopeful handball. Pendlebury didn't really want to take position, and Ball will win himself a free there.
Boys, just a couple of key stats. 22-12 is the inside 50 count. 11-7 at the stoppages at the moment in favour of Collingwood.
Gee. Fair differential there.
That's Griffin's first touch for the quarter. His man McCaffrey's had 5.
His read on his wrong right side. Wellingham eyes for the ball. Brown did well again to bring the ball to the ground. He gets a 2nd crack at it. Feeds the handball out. Brilliant play from the big man Brown. Here's the most dangerous man on the ground. It's Leon Davis in a big game out there. Centres the ball brilliantly to Wellingham.
You called it, BT. Lee Brown, he's a much maligned player, but his last 3 efforts of the ball have resulted in 3 goals. And you know the bloke who gets it after Brown gets it almost every time? Leon Davis. Leon Davis seems to feed off Lee Brown. And this kick by Leon to the heart, the most dangerous part of the ground. And this game is getting away from the Western Bulldogs.
Well, this will make it 31. Maxwell just comes up, says to Wellingham, you would imagine, to understand the importance of this one, to concentrate.
Wellingham
Gillespie in front. Great news for Dogs fans. Higgins back out there and just didn't get through it. Laid off the ball and was not at all committed to the kick. And umpire Chelsea Roffey signalling the behind.
Don't like to pump Lee Brown's tyres up too much because I'm an unabashed fan and have been for a long time. But why is it that he can't cement a spot in this Collingwood team?
Well, it's consistency of performance. I mean, he has performances like this for 15, 20 minutes and he goes down for a couple of weeks. And you know, he's been a very good player at 3 different clubs for a certain period of time, and I'm not sure why he has those fluctuations, but certainly today.
When you look at him today, what he's done was another turnover here from Higgins, who's just back on the ground. He's still limping considerably. Goes to Cloak. Come back and talk about Brown in a moment. Here go Collingwood again. Wellingham flies, couldn't hold the mark. Dogs missed the ball, ran over the top of it, allows Thomas to come through. Here's Davis again, got through the traffic. Good pick up, Johnson couldn't handle it. Hahn did well. Crashing in here. The numbers in favour of Collingwood. Barry Hall, Swan, and now out of trouble momentarily. Collingwood again. Ball, coughed it up.
Pressure's dropped off for the Dogs.
Davis wide, and finally the Dogs with a clean possession. Although they turn it over the moment they got hold of it. Pretty ugly game at the moment. Here's the centre half back in Reid to Thomas on his wrong left side. Straightens up, bending back, can't get it. Lake did well, conceded the behind. Rushed it over in the end, but he did have nearby pressure, and Dog fans a little irritable at the moment.
Guys, I spoke a quarter time about the kicking efficiency of both teams. Collingwood going at 59, Bulldogs 61. This quarter alone, 76% Collingwood's kicking efficiency, Dogs 38.
Big improvement.
The Dogs can't get it over the middle of the ground into their own forward line.
There's Thomas. They press again. Fraser lines up. Split second. Goal. Another one. Collingwood by 33.
Yeah, well, the Pies are blowing this game away, and the Dogs have got to have a good hard look at the way they're playing. Their tackle count for this quarter, the Pies 8, Dogs 2. Pressure. Gilby going straight down the ground, trying something different. You can't criticise him for that. But Lee Brown again at the fall of the ball. Pies worked it out far too easily. Dogs with a tackle that was just a bit clumsy, and then the Pies kick a goal. But I don't see where the Dogs are going to kick their goals from. It just doesn't look like they've got the run, the flow. Now, whether it's Pies pressure or not, I'm not sure, but I don't think the Western Bulldogs runners are working hard enough to try and break the lines.
Just to the Lee Brown conversation, is it as simple as saying to him, look, your job, Jared, is to compete and bring the ball to the ground? Is that enough for a modern-day player to contribute and hold his spot?
I think if it creates opportunities for those around him, it is. He misses some goals, etc. But every time I see him play, he contributes. And I would have thought he's in Collingwood's best 22. I just don't seem to think he gets the same latitude as others do for a poor game or two.
Third man up on Barry Hall there. Knocked down Pendlebury. Fraser. They're out again here. McCaffar.
11-2 inside 50s this quarter.
Side bottom. Chip over the top. Here's Cloak again, who's really presented up quite well today, and a lot of people say they'd like to see him closer to goal, but he's got to get up and get it inside 50, and that's why he does spend a fair bit of time up the ground. I haven't got a problem with that at all as Fraser gets into the back of the Bulldogs cross. He says it was in the side, and have a look at the fans' support on the perimeter piping there.
Yeah. I think there's a few players. Mitch Hahn could learn a lot from Lee Brown at the moment. Mitch Hahn is struggling to work his way into the game and needs to take a leaf out of, I think, Brown's book and just get to as many contests as possible and bring the ball down for his crummers.
Thomas been impressive. Been an impressive year for Thomas. He's a much more workmanlike and consistent player this year. Driving ball to centre half forward. Medhurst there back on the side.
This is where they've got to construct some run. Work it out, get it into the hands of their best kicks and be smart about their forward entry.
I reckon Thomas's improvement started when Mick Malthouse took over the international rules, played him as a back pocket. Following year, he played him as a run-with player, and this year he's got a multitude of midfield roles.
Still got Heath Shaw just filling in the gap. No one making him accountable to where this ball's going to go, and you really can't go over the top because Heath Shaw's just sitting in that hole.
Cooney doesn't look all that confident about the journey here. That's a lovely kick to Hudson right on 50, but even he may struggle from there.
He wants Gilby. Gilby wants Gilby.
Yep.
See there, boys, there's a lot of statues in the Bulldogs forward line here.
Cross in the end got it, but I'm not sure that's the one. And Gilby stares at Hudson as if to say, come on, man, you've got to get it in a bit earlier. Now Cross, this is about his distance.
On his limit.
Absolutely. 45 metres out.
Big kick for the Dogs, though, BT. He's a very good player. He's worked very hard so far this game.
Haven't kicked one since the 12-minute mark of the first. Gives it off. Eventually the right man got hold of it. Has he made them pay? He hasn't.
BT, what was Cross, 40 metres out?
45 probably.
45. I mean, you should have the confidence in your own ability to go back and kick that goal.
Really knowing his kicking, though, James, I reckon that was right on whether he could get the distance from there. He's not a real penetrating kick, but may well have gone with his best. Shaw. Wide. And Collingwood have belted this one wide open in the early stages to lead by 32. We're only 16 minutes into this second term, and the fans here at the moment slightly stunned.
Pickers, what are your chances of getting into the Footscray, the Western Bulldogs rooms at half-time? Listen to Rocket's speech.
I reckon it'll be about 1,000 to 1.
It'll be a great speech to listen to.
Well, they finally get one here. The Western Bulldogs. It comes from their youngster in Brodie Moles. And brings them back within 26.
Look, and they worked that goal well from the stoppage over on the far side, and they needed that goal. It was a goal that was desperately needed. They worked it out of the stoppage. Hudson doing well, and then with small handball, a nice shot for goal. I mean, the Dogs have not moved the ball in their forward line well. You never know, a goal or two, what sort of confidence it can give you as a team and get you back onto the stage where you need to play. But, Jared, they need to kick the next 2 or 3 to get themselves back into the game.
I think so, and they've got to get them from stoppages because they appear to be struggling most when they're getting a flow just coming down the ground. Collingwood have just dropped off players, and we've seen time and time again in the 45 minutes of this match already.
Brodie Moles with his second career goal as Hall prepares to come back on.
Yeah, Sean Higgins off again, boys. That ankle doesn't look right to me.
And Pickering down there on the boundary. Here they go forward again. This would be a great opportunity. Minson does Reid in the air. A little bit too strong for Ben Reid on that occasion.
Interesting, when the ball went in there, if that had been Barry Hall, there was 2 or 3 Collingwood players going over Spall because they knew where it was. On this occasion, it was Minson. Hall was on the bench, and the Collingwood players didn't know where to lay off to. Not saying that Hall shouldn't be in the forward line. He should. He's a fantastic player and played really well for the Bulldogs this year, but just adds another dimension, changes it up, makes it hard for the backline to know where to go.
This can stir the emotion of those Dogs players out there. Consecutive goals, if successful. Minson gets it. And the Dogs back in the hunt have got it back to 20 points.
Well, a little bit of life left in the Dogs. Just a couple of goals effectively from stoppages. One a centre clearance, another one out on the other wing. But they've got to find a way forward when they rebound out of defence, and that's been their major issues. Clearances now, a couple of goals in succession, but we just still haven't seen them be able to penetrate well when the ball crosses into their defensive 50.
First time I think I've seen the ball going high to the Western Bulldogs forward line. There hasn't been 2 or 3 Collingwood players around the Western Bulldogs players going for the mark. And terrific pressure kick from Will Minson. Gets a lot of criticism for the way he goes about his game at times, but that was a pressure goal, and well done.
2 in a row for the Dogs. 20 points in it, so they're back in the hunt here. Swan with the clearance to Pendlebury. Already has 6 contested possessions, Pendlebury, along with Ball and Davis. Beams fighting with Lake. And we'll throw it in.
Lake was interesting there, more concerned about Beams than he was about going for the mark. I would have thought for Lake would definitely outbody Beams and take that mark.
Here's Higgins again giving it another go, but you're getting the feeling that this is just going to be an issue all day, that injured ankle because of the moving turf earlier in this game. Hudson, and a very valuable player for the Dogs, not to have it full throttle. Luke Ball loves that situation, thrives on the bottom of the pack stuff.
Well, they've got what they want now, the Bulldogs. They've got man-on-man in their forward line. There's 4 of them up there. Grant's gone back to play in the role he started with.
Fraser. Swan, Didak, fast hands, missed the Ben Johnson target. And Hahn gave Didak a slap around the face. Didak, I think they both thought the umpire wouldn't see that. Gave him a nice little flick around the left.
It's a big hole for Didak.
Have a look at this.
Yeah, big hole for Didak to kick it into BT. Western Bulldogs need to zone off and plug up that hole.
Wasn't a lot in it, but Didak with the free as a result. Goes inside 50. Gee, Sidebottom wasn't limited to the contest, was looking behind for someone else, but Gilby did well. Lindsay Gilby. Time to play on. And kicks long and wide to a Mitch Hahn contest with Lake as well.
Should have been Hahns.
There's Lake. Someone's lost a boot. Lake had to step over the top, but it's down inside 50 now. Didak, the bootless one. Minson, Hahn. Hahn around the corner. Cooney got a fist there. Tuvey did well. Harry O'Brien had to get rid of it. Very lucky. Tuvey now. Hahn needs to be clean at the ground level. And Collingwood will get an opportunity. Great awareness by Pendleby while lying on his side. Really good stuff. Meadows through traffic. Beams waited for Swan to break loose from Hudson. Brilliant play. Here's Lee Brown again. Got a hand on it. The dangerous Davies. And that'll be a holding the ball, holding the man decision. They tried to take advantage, Collingwood. Davis took possession. Like dynamite, got rid of it because he knew the tackle was coming.
Very smart play. I want to come back, Jared, after the shot at goal to Mitch Hahn. Talk about the way he's going about his game at the moment. There's definitely a free kick there. And Davis lining up for his third goal, and he's been alive on the forward line.
Is that not incorrect disposal, or is that definitely
a very interesting decision? That
wasn't he too high?
He gives it off to Harry O'Brien. Too high, was it? Dropping the ball. I don't know. But anyway, Harry says thank you very much, Leon. There's a direct goal assist. Harry O'Brien.
Well, it was an interesting decision. I think BT eventually it'll come down to it being too high, but it's like a throwback to the days of Kevin Bartlett, getting the ball and throwing it out in front of him, extracting the free kick. But that got taken out of the game. But in essence, that was over the shoulder.
There's the umpire. Let's see what he said. What he indicates.
No, he said holding the man.
Yep, he did.
Yeah, he actually threw it away. So what you're saying is he threw it away before it was too high, so it should have been a free kick to Western Bulldogs, and I think that would have been the correct decision.
He disguised it well, though.
He did.
If he had a handballed it, he might have got away with it. Not that the umpires pay that all that often, but it wasn't even a handball. It was a KB.
Mitch Hahn, Jared, just looks a bit off his game at the moment. Doesn't look to have the ability to see the options up forward when you get the ball. Looks a bit fumbly as well.
I reckon he may be playing for his spot in the side right now. Heard he?
Mitch Hahn, do you?
Yep.
Griffin with the clearance. Here's Barry Hall. Everyone else went down. He kept going with it. Just did a little party trick then and centered the ball. Good-looking kick. Stack needs to run hard at it. He didn't.
No. Didn't run hard enough for the ball there, BT. That's put his body on the line and keep it in the forward 50.
Harry O'Brien, wonderful creation. Here's Short, sets him loose. Couple of bounces. Brown's coming in for the Shepherd. Stopped any chasers, although Shaw did too much in the end.
That was fantastic pressure work from the Bulldogs. Just something like that can spark them and get them back into the match. I mean, in essence, I think they've probably equalised this term with their pressure. And that's a terrific bit of work there by Williams.
Tom Williams, sensational.
He's, as you see, Stacks attack at the ball.
Just
not good enough for AFL level football, boys. You've got to keep your eyes on the ball at all times.
Addison, up they go. A big high attempt by Stack. Grant went at it. Here's Stack and Hall combining. Now Cross is in amongst it as well. He'll get a free. Maxwell a little anxious. And he definitely won't get the journey here. Watch them queue up behind Cross here. As look at that, still side bottom in the picture there already. Here's the tackle, a little high. And he gives the handball off to Eagleton.
Collingwood backline just so good at working for each other and not letting a free man get free.
Great kick by Cross to Grant on the lead.
I like to look at this kid. He's still very young and immature, obviously. Only played the 7 games, but he always looks likely. He always stays in the game. And when he puts some muscle on that wiry frame, he's going to be a powerful player.
Incredibly athletic. He's capable of anything. I agree with you, Jared. Love the look of him. Here is Grant, one of the youngsters, very close to that man on the mark again. The kick is slightly to the right-hand side. And enough to miss. Of course, it only has to be 3.5 yards to the right-hand side of the middle, and it's going to hit the post.
Yards?
Well, yes.
What's that in metres, BT?
I'm not sure. James.
I'm not sure either.
I did look that up in the book the other day, strangely enough, but my retentive memory at age 49, not great. I never did well in exams, was never able to retain the information. Jolly high. Off ground Hill, really good. Higgins spent it too much. Reed gets back, 1-on-2, got rid of it. Gian Syracuse, good pressure. Cooney the mark as a result. of the Gia pressure.
Yeah, we had Rodney Eade on the couch the other night talking us through this exact situation, Jared, about what the Bulldogs are trying to do to try and get it across.
What did he say?
Well, he's trying to get it across around the other side of the zone if you can't play on straight away. So this is an opportunity where they work it around the Collingwood zone that's there, but they have to move it quickly. Talking about moving it quickly and playing on at all costs.
Goes into Cooney.
And don't just stand and hold, move.
And 50-metre penalty.
This will be handy. The Dogs starting slowly to get themselves back into it.
He kicks this. They're back within 19 points. So, you know, for all the first half of the second quarter dominance that Collingwood had.
I reckon Cooney initiated that contact. That is a tough 50.
He's got 2 50s.
This will be a certain goal, but I reckon that was a really, really tough call. Razor Ray Chamberlain, the sharpest whistle in the business. Cooney goals. Dogs back within 19.
You know, the game's alive. The game is definitely alive. And the Bulldogs haven't played their best football so far this game, but they are back in with a great chance. They've kicked 3 of the last 4. Higgins back on the ground after the injury. See Cooney here goes.
Oh, Razor.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That is definitely not a free kick.
And look at the way Ray turned his back. He wouldn't explain.
And then there was another one given away. If you look down the bottom of your screen, someone Shaw has given it to him. Well, Maxwell won it. Shaw's given it, and away it goes. So
it's just a lack of tolerance from Razor there. You've got to be bigger than that, Ray. I know you're small, but you've got to be bigger than that.
It's a bit hard. You can't. He was born that way.
Oh, look, honestly, that I think the initial one's unfair. The second one was created from the initial wrong call. But anyway.
Geez, the next goal's important.
It is, because the Dogs are back in this. Was that a dangerous tackle?
Watch his head, get out.
Got to watch his head, said the umpire.
Rough conduct.
There you go.
I reckon that's I'd like to see that again.
Reported rough conduct, Ben Hudson, in slamming ball to the ground.
Yeah, I think he might get off that one.
But is it a free kick?
Well,
or is it a good tackle?
It's a report, so therefore it's a free kick.
All right, but is it a free kick? I don't think that's a free kick. He didn't put him on his head. He took him off his feet and put him on the ground like you're instructed to as the coach. Yeah. You watch. He's not putting him on his head.
He lifted him into a dangerous position, but I agree, he landed in a safe position.
Yeah, I think you're allowed. Just because the guy's bigger, you shouldn't be.
Umpires are having too much effect on this game at the moment. It's rare that I've said that this year. In fact, this is the first time I've said that, because they've been really good. But I just reckon too many whistles in a game that should just be let go. Didak. Thomas. Here comes Cross. Great stuff by him. McCaffer, who's been just off slightly today.
So what, another goal to the Bulldogs here will bring this game right back to even, and I think the Bulldogs probably don't deserve to be as close but as they could after another goal, but this will be a very exciting second half. The Bulldogs will get a goal back, Jared.
Well, the one thing they've done is they've just lifted their intensity. Is that a free kick? It looks like a free kick, but when you've got ruckman, it's hard to tell, but their midfield pressure has gone up 30%.
Yeah, they're tackling.
And there it is. There's an example of the pressure and the tackling that Jared and James just spoke of. The last 10-minute possessions in this game have gone 48-26 the way of the Dogs, and kicked 3 of the last 4 goals in that time.
They have to look short of the Western Bulldogs. You've got Harry O'Brien dropping off. You've got Maxwell dropping off. You've got players in about 20 or 30 metres from the kicker that we've got to try and target to make Maxwell and O'Brien more accountable.
Gilby punches the ball inside 50. No Dog player could get a run on, and Shaw marks.
Now that is where they're falling down. The kick's okay, but it has to come to ground.
Well, someone has to get there.
I mean, Heath can't possibly be standing there, take a grab and feel no body pressure.
He's not 6'8", is he, Heath?
Thomas to Didak, and they understand Collingwood runner out there at the moment, telling every player there's less than a minute to go. Don't squander another one here, because I tell you what, the Dogs are just 19 down, and they are ready to jump. Johnson to Shaw.
He is dead set off the pace.
Yeah, he is. Really well done by Shaw. Bad handball, Fraser. He made it look better than it was, didn't he? Williams. Moles. One last opportunity. There's enough time for the Dogs. We know how quickly they can move the ball. Need to get it in the right hands. Side bottom, great tackle on Boyd.
They're picking out just to the right if Boyd had been able to see him, but the pace of the game means that things go past you very quickly. Unlucky for Boyd there.
So this one will time itself off now, and the game is delicately poised. Make no mistake, Collingwood by just 19. Dogs kicked 3 of the last 4, and I tell you what, they have just got a little bit of a sniff. Stay with us. Jared and Hurdy are going to look at this game in detail on the other side of the break, and we can't wait for the second half of footy.
Maxwell, yeah.
Or thinking about it at least.
And Mitch Hahn following Maxwell wherever he goes, so playing a defensive forward role.
Started in the middle again. Hudson got the first advantage. Look at that from Boyd. Fantastic. Set the example there. Voiced it and now has done it. In man, here's Maxwell meeting a difficult bouncing ball and cleaning it up at ground level brilliantly.
And is that the reason they changed over? Because Maxwell will run off Will Minson a lot easier?
Yeah, well, Mitch Hahn is playing it. He's following Maxwell around as a defensive forward. Now, that only works if Will Minson still has to read the play. He can't be the second man to go at the ball. You've still got to have your competitive instincts to go and be in front. He has to get on top of his game, Mitch Hahn, if he's to help the Bulldogs across the line here.
Here he is. Hahn just ploughing through, and a really strong, tough player. Admire Mitch Hahn. Tuvey. Well, Jared says he's under some pressure to retain his position in the side with recent form. Opportunity here now with Williams. Got a head-high one from Lee Brown.
He had a big game 2 weeks ago. He had just under 30 possessions, but it just doesn't impact the scoreboard. And I think that the Bulldogs have to address that, the mix of their forward line. Everyone admires the way he attacks the ball, but
there's a man that's been a little quiet. Gian Siracusa. Moles gets an opportunity today. Driving ball inside 50. Hill just funneled out of the way.
But that's a kick, BT, that favours O'Brien. I mean, it doesn't favour Hill. O'Brien, the stronger body player. You kick the ball and you've got to know your teammates, know which side of the ball to kick it to them, know how to deliver it into the forward line.
Reid, a beautiful left foot ball. Of course, he is a left footer. It's Lee Brown on the lead.
He's been a good development player for the Pies, Reid.
He's been a long project.
Forward, yep, and they finally found a spot for him.
They spent many years fiddling around in that forward line with him, Jared, and they found that in the end his kicking was not good enough. Here is Didak. His set shot goal kicking, that is. Morris.
One bloke who hasn't had any impact at all is Paul Medhurst, just playing handball at this stage.
First game back in 3 weeks.
Yep.
The sort of guy, though, Jared, who can pop up for a couple of goals. Now, that's a terrible kick. I mean, that's what they've been doing in the first half. There was 3 Collingwood players, BT. There wasn't even a Western Bulldogs player in the frame.
Jolly panicked a little bit with that kick, but it falls to the advantage of Davis, although he had the bigger late with a nice fist over the top.
Well, that to me is the area where the Dogs have got to improve, and I don't think they have, even though they got better on the scoreboard in the second quarter. The transition from deep in defence to deep in the forward line has been that of a side in the bottom 4, not the top 5 or 6.
That is amazing vision, Hurdy, because you're right, there was no one even in the vision, and he looked to connect with the ball beautifully. Harbrow. He's Didak. Off the ground. Davis, ground level, and Harbrow working him furiously from behind. Did well, Davis, to drag and force a win there.
And the thing for Harbrow is he needs to make those kicks count, because he's playing on a guy who's going to end up with 3 or 4 goals, who's very dangerous. If he gets off, if he gets off Davis, he needs to make sure he hurts him.
Just on Davis, I said it earlier in the game, and I really believe it, James. He needs longer rotation. Normal rotation for a player 7 or 8 minutes. I reckon he needs 9 or 10 minutes before he's rotated.
Yeah, good point.
Give him a little more time to work into it. Hudson with the free.
Just to paint the picture, you've got 5 Collingwood players now nowhere near their man. They're just minding space.
And they'll win it back, and there's 4 together.
4 of them there, 3 of them there now, and now Thomas peels off, and Lake comes through the interchange, strangely enough, when he could have been involved in that play. funny interchange it was. Swan to Lee Brown. He marks well within range.
Terrific mover from Collingwood, but Hudson shouldn't have kicked it there, Jared. Hudson kicked it to a 5-on-2, 5-on-1, and turned the ball over. And this is where the Western Bulldogs work.
Blake could have influenced that contest on the wing, and he chose to go to the bench. That was a bizarre move.
Was he injured, Pickers?
Well, he doesn't look right. He did have the trainer next to him, so just keep an eye on it, boys.
He got hurt in the half-forward back flank a minute or two ago.
In fact, he's gone down to the rooms as Brown comes through and slots the goal for Collingwood. They lead it by 25.
Well, that one certainly hurts because it was on the back of another turnover from the Western Bulldogs. Ball whipped into their forward line, and Leroy Brown just on the end of it. This is the kick you're talking about.
And it's a kick that favours, I mean, Mitch Hart could have marked it, favours Collingwood. Collingwood come out and take the ball, but there's a point where you probably have to give Collingwood credit for the way they zone off. We've been talking about the Western Bulldogs, their lack of their poor disposal. That's a drop mark by Mitch Hart, but then when they turn it over, Collingwood, they run so hard and work the ball out, and Lee Brown, he's playing a very good game tonight, boys. And look, he's under pressure, I suppose, back into the side, but you've got Dawes, Anthony and Brown all playing for that one big, tall player in the Collingwood forward line.
Probably throw in Fraser and Wood into the mix.
Yep.
Kenny with the hold, I heard the umpire say there.
And this is where they've got to be creative and fight and work it through. They've got an option, Hall 3.
Good
Nice
kick.
kick.
Really good kick.
Great lead too. He worked really hard. He went out the back of the pack, did a duck back a la Jason Dunstall, and then ran really wide with pace.
Barry Hall has played a much higher role today, as was pointed out by the boys. And that a good mark in front of Preston Giacomo. Within range here, Barry Hall with his best. Hall in desperate need of a goal here, the Dogs, to keep it under the 20-point margin. From right on 50, bending back enough, just fell short in its journey. Collingwood quickly with the kick in.
Normally a bigger kick than that, Jared, Barry Hall.
Yeah, I think so, particularly indoors.
Just probably didn't get enough of the ball as a straight kick. Didn't get enough of the ball to get the distance.
Weak ball, one short of the most possessions on the ground at the moment. Hudson outdoing Jolly there. Here's Eagleton. Didn't quite get onto his left. Harry O'Brien.
Good tackling from Boyd.
Ray is hot on that whistle. He'd hardly got rid of it. Incorrect disposal. Didn't handball the football, says Ray. Missed it.
He had prior opportunity, and as Ray rightly pointed out, no connection.
Quickness that he blows the whistle. As Eagleton just off to the side of the picture there in the hands of the trainer.
Just getting a little bit feral down here, the Magpie fans, BT.
Find that hard to believe, Pickers. Boyd from the 45, bit of left to right about this. Kick just drifts him to the right in the last moments of travel, but it's good enough for a goal. And the Dogs bite back.
Yeah, lovely goal and well worked by the Bulldogs. But
well, you tipped this at the start of the half, Hurdy, that this is the bloke who certainly put his mouth and his in the frame, and now he's backing it up with actions.
yeah, and good on him. He's a terrific player, Boyd. He's All-Australian last year, and he is a hard-working player. We probably doesn't get the credit of a lot of the big midfielders around the competition. Elbow to the head for Eagleton there. Great tackle by Boyd, and he just continues to make a great name for himself in AFL football. One of the guys you love to watch and you'd love to play with.
The few blokes who's worked the left to right slider out in that pocket up there, or that quadrant of the ground.
You mentioned Luke Ball. BT, sorry, Jared.
Yep. Just two on the bench there that we can see.
Well, no sign of Lake, boys. He went down the race. I'm not sure what's actually wrong with him.
Yeah, ran straight off the ground, Pickers. And
yeah. Well, it might help Medhurst, who hasn't been able to get a sniff on Lake this afternoon.
yeah.
He hit the ground really hard in a marking contest with Medhurst about 5 minutes ago. He hit his backside really hard, so it was his back or...
He ran off the ground quickly and moved freely. It's almost as if he had to go to the toilet or something. I'm not sure that that is the case, but...
Keep your eye on Thomas too, Biggers, because he's come off the ground with the trainers after that little knock to the head.
It's Reid. Maxwell confronted by Grant.
Ball, doesn't he, Maxwell?
Johnson, that was brilliant hands from Ben Johnson. Collingwood out of the loop, here's Cloak. And he can kick it from here. Man on the mark will be right on 50. Now, Davis has got a lot of room out this side of the ground if he wants to lead.
He's going the distance here, wouldn't he?
Yep, he'll get the journey easy.
Don't know how you measure it, boys. Would love to see a stat of Maxwell getting the possession and how often that leads to a shot for goal, because he just continually gets the ball and sets the Collingwood football team up.
Travis Cloak directly in front. It's all about distance, though. 55 metres out. The distance is covered, but just offline.
Jared, Luke Ball, he's had 19 possessions today, moved from St Kilda into last year, round 11. How do you see the move for him individually and for Collingwood?
I think it's been a win.
Yeah, I think it has been a win. You can start to make an assessment halfway through a year how it's been.
Well, he's been pretty consistent.
Definitely.
Boys, Lakes appeared from the rooms with a heavily strapped left knee. He'll come back on. He's ready to come back on the ground, but he has got a lot of strapping on his knee.
All over it down there, Pickers. He disappeared into the rooms. There with us now. Here's Ben Johnson again. Tuvey, can he break the tackle? Danger if he does to Beams. 55 out. That's going to bend back beautifully. Collingwood get the goal. Back to a 25-point lead.
Terrific kick, Jared. That's a kick of a very, very classy player. Only in his second year of AFL football, but just getting better and better. That's a fantastic goal.
It was a beauty, wasn't it? And he meant business the minute he got the ball. He won it with conviction, ran to just on the 50 and delivered a really accurate blow. Let's have a look at this. Interesting one from Shaw there, but Johnson, he was the one that ferreted it out. And then I like Tuvey. He burst through there pretty well. Underrated player, Tuvey, but outside 50 and he's still slotted it.
But he knows what to do, doesn't he? He knows what to do when he's in goal with he's within 55 metres. I mean, a lot of people would have just chipped it into Leon Davis and gone for a 50-50 kick. But this kick here sees the goals, no doubt where he's going, and kicks them more often than not.
Boys, Brian Lake back on the ground. He's gone forward though, lads. He's gone to full forward.
Okay, well, he's obviously not at full tilt then. Here's a poor kick in the end by Swan. Cooney marks, by the way, Collingwood with their 8th goal kicker with that Beams goal. So that spread, we're only just over halfway through the game, already looking like it's going to hit their average of 10.5 different goal kickers per game.
The late move's interesting. It's probably going to keep Maxwell more accountable. I think should see how this weighs up. Might be a positive for the Western Bulldogs.
Ball inside 50. Good mark taken by Brian Lake. As Pickers just mentioned, gone into that forward post. Does this quite often. Lake winds up with a kick deliberately to the top of the goal square. Barry Hall's there. Fraser went early, but he did. Has a little word to Presty too, who has kept him to just one behind today after he kicked 5 on Fletcher last week.
You won't see this much, but Brian Lake's extra run and movement, BT, as you see the goal.
Ball comes in and gets it back under that 20-point margin. It's the next goal that the Dogs need. Barry kicks his first.
Brian Lake's mark was terrific on as we see, but see the movement where he actually runs rather than stops and waits and props, just gets it in there. And sometimes if you move the ball, things happen and things evolve. A great mark by Lake up against Maxwell. I'm interested to keep this matchup for quite a while just to see what Maxwell does. See if they can keep him accountable. Lake going very deep into the forward line. Watch him break here. Just breaks, makes his forwards move and put it into a very, very dangerous position. Hall uses his body beautifully and keeps Presty away from where the ball's going to land.
There's a big shot of the crowd from up high, but down at ground level, Barry Hall went over to Sean Ryan and had a long chat about maybe just a little bit more protection.
Yeah, actually, I reckon just to go back to Hurdy's point, looking at Maxwell, he just doesn't want to be staying deep in defence, and I reckon that's a really good technical move by Rodney Eade.
Here's Eagleton.
Just got to get it in there now to see if he can have a major impact.
Beams will get on the end of this, although he and Ball lack communication. 3 of them here in the end. Side bottom. Beams, Johnson. Here's Harry O'Brien. Will go inside 50 with a long ball. It's deep. Hahn fights. Lee Brown's there. Harbrow, Davis. Harbrow goes to ground. Davis kicks back to his feet. Unbelievable! Leon around the corner.
Yeah, terrific goal. Again, Harry O'Brien across half-back. Gets the ball free in space. It's the same old story for the Magpies. And then we see Leon fighting for the ball with Harbrow. Maybe in the back there, not sure, but picks it up. And that's a great snap, and he's made his name for a long time, Leon Davis, in working the ball and kicking goals like that. But you've got to go back to Harry O'Brien. Between Harry O'Brien, Maxwell and Shaw, there is never an occasion when one of them isn't free. It's just amazing how they can keep getting one of those guys free across halfback.
I know I've harped on it a bit today about this man, but I'm going to ask you one more time, Hurdy. Is this a big game today?
This is a big game, Beater.
Right, for all those Davis knockers out there, get off that wagon now. Here is Cross. Opportunity, McCaffar. Reed in the back half is just getting better and better as each week goes by.
This bloke's off the chain as well.
Beams.
He's been good this quarter, hasn't he?
Yes.
He's racking them up in midfield.
Johnson, a couple of vital possessions as well. That wasn't his best kick, Cross.
Yeah. Jared, we're talking about Mitch Hahn going across half-back or even the full-back deep as we see the Bulldogs go forward.
Blake scragged as he's about to kick the ball. There's the desperate Harry O'Brien.
I think it's exactly what he needs, Jared, is that new role. He's on Lee Brown taking him down to full-back. And what it does is it just gives him a purpose rather than playing that defensive forward-line player, which I think would have to be the worst role in footy.
Yeah.
You can see the goals being allowed to go for them.
There's Lake giving them a little lift since he's gone forward. Ball, the hard attempt. Now Maxwell. The thinker in the back half. Out wide, Gilby, a wonderful mark. Takes penalty on. And a nice kick to a dangerous spot.
No, it wasn't a nice kick. It was a poor kick.
Poor kick.
He was under pressure, though, and that's the key point. It was good pressure up the ground from the Pies.
50-metre penalty here for Ball.
And it's those sort of turnovers that is the difference between the Dogs of 2010 and the Dogs of 2009.
Or even the Dogs of pre-season 2010.
Luke Ball got too close to the man on the mark again. Boy, how often does that happen? Kick fortunate. Pendlebury well within his range.
How do you see Ryan Griffin's game, Jared? 11 possessions for the match. His opponent, Swan, has had 23-5 this quarter.
Well, I think the numbers in that case probably tell the story. He's had no influence, Ryan Griffin. And I think maybe our expectations of the Bulldogs are a little bit out of kilter when you consider Murphy's out. Johnson hasn't had an impact. Acker's nowhere near what he was, and Tim Callum also not playing well.
For the ninth different goal kicker for Collingwood. There it is, a spread of 9 different goal kickers. Pendlebury with a goal. Collingwood at the moment, 15-minute mark of the third, lead by 31.
Comes back to a turnover across half forward for the Bulldogs, a halfback for the Magpies. They're so strong, they don't let the ball go past that halfback line. As we see the smother from Ball, Harry O'Brien gets it to Pendlebury, a lovely kick just in front, just to the favoured side of your teammate. But that ball was there because of the I think it's the Gilby kick, Jared, that looked beautiful. But either there's not enough options for the Bulldogs across half forward, or they're just not using it properly tonight.
Pendlebury a wonderful day with that goal. Go with his 20 disposals.
But his man was just 4 metres off him, wasn't he? He was in front, Pendlebury, and that was enough. Just a scrubber kick always goes, or generally goes, to the man in front.
Worked that out well, Jolly. Centre half forward, here comes Thomas. Harder at the ball than anyone else, and that's saying something. Brad Boyd's around. Here's Ball. Lee Brown jumped when he probably didn't need to get off the ground. The spinning move by Wellingham. I think it came from Davis. Wellingham kicks the goal.
Yeah, very un-Boyd-like that effort on the ball, and Thomas a lot harder. Won the ball, and that's what set the goal up. But Collingwood are in. Well, Western Bulldogs in great danger of being blown away as we see Thomas get the ball out. Luke Ball kicking it in, and you know, he doesn't take those marks at the moment, Lee Brown, but he's certainly
pretty good spoil,
providing an option. It was a good spoil, but Leon Davis involved again, and well, this game could be out of reach for the Bulldogs very, very shortly.
Was that an assist, was it?
That's the goal assist. That's what they call a goal assist. I didn't invent the category, Jared, but they lead it by 37 as a result.
I might have thought it was a fumble.
Collingwood have got the last 3, and
we'll give it to Leon anyway.
Higgins, who's
finished,
had trouble all day with that ankle since slipping on the turf.
Really has a major impact on the match. Sean Higgins went out. They're down on midfield strength, as we know, or certainly on class strength, and Higgins is a bloke that they desperately can't have running at 50%, which he is at the moment.
I think it was good from Hudson to get it out. The Moles kick wasn't fantastic. His side bottom. Swan. Really wide to Didak. Grant corrals rather than lunges. Did well. Quick out wide for Collingwood, punched away in the end by Cross on Pendlebury.
Would you like to see Grant trialled in this next few weeks, PT, at fullback?
Jared Grant.
I know he's skinny, but he's like a bit of a read for Collingwood.
He has played down in defence a number of times this year. He looks like a player you can just use at both ends, Jared.
He reads it really well.
He does. Wellingham and Gilby pushed side bottom out of the way and did it really well.
That was a great mark from Gilby.
On the run, Lindsay Gilby, the best kick in the competition. Not so good on that occasion.
I'm not sure it's Gilby's fault. I know it's a turnover, but the Western Bulldogs forward line just aren't moving, providing an option. I mean, you've got to make that a contest, even if you don't mark it as a Bulldogs forward.
There's an opportunity for the Dogs to rip it away. Hahn couldn't handle it cleanly. Cloak charges on his favoured side. Chip around the corner. Thomas will mark.
He saw that.
Plays on. Didak.
He dead set pulled his kick. Good work for Travis Cloak. And I'm with you, Hurdy. When you saw Gilby coming out of the back half like we did there in the first month of the season, let's call it the NAB Cup, and most of last year, you almost put a goal down in the record. Just had to wait and see who kicked it.
But why can Maxwell read that better than any Bulldogs player can read it? That doesn't make sense to me. We all knew the ball was going to go roundabout to where it was going to go. The Bulldogs players need to get to where he's going to kick it.
Didak for his third Collingwood goal. Not a lot of journey, and he has been incredibly straight with his kicking today. 3 out of 3 for Didak. And Collingwood now by a game-high 43 points.
And it's happened within the last 5 minutes, and this game has been blown away within 5 minutes. Collingwood have worked very hard this quarter. The Bulldogs thought they were in touch. But just little things like that Mitch Hahn fumble, you can just see the confidence in his, at his best, that ball wouldn't be fumbled, it'll be out 40 metres away. Travis Cloak, fantastic spotting of Thomas, and Thomas of maybe 2 years ago might have gone back and had the shot there, but the new Dale Thomas, or the improved Dale Thomas, taking his game to a whole new level.
You're
spots
right.
Didak and kicks a goal.
You're right about the timing, Hurdy. 7 minutes for 4 goals, Collingwood. They were 25 points up, and all of a sudden 43 up in 7 minutes of play.
Boys, talk about a work rate. 49 uncontested possessions, Collingwood for the quarter, just 20 to the Dogs.
Okay, you heard that from Ray Chamberlain. A hold. Off the hands of Jolly. No mark paid. Now Moles from inside the centre square elevates the ball very high. Brian Lake's there. What can he do? Was he held? One player said no. The behind will count.
Once again, positive out of that was the quick hands of Jared Grant. He's a smart thinker. He's got a great footy brain. I think the Dogs have got themselves a genuine player.
Oh, Josh Hill stuck up the claw in front of Jolly. Centering dangerous ball, but Moles makes it look really good. Long ball again, late, 3 deep, off hands. There go the Pies. Swan spirals one to Leon. There's no one in front of Davis. Gives the handball to the fast-charging Cloak. Now Medhurst. Medhurst doubles back, but Hahn did well. Really well, Mitch Hahn there in guarding Medhurst. Cooney under enormous pressure, the Dogs. Turvey did well. Look at the lightning handball. And now Collingwood a stumpy little kick on the head of Beams. Couldn't get there. Hahn again. Roscoff run too high.
Gone.
He plays on. Ball's pinned to him. What will they do? He had prior opportunity and then he played on.
Oh, he was going to give it.
He has to give it. He had prior opportunity because he called play on. So it's his fault if he takes 2 seconds to dispose of it. That's Wellingham comes in anyway and kicks the goal.
Let's have a look at this beat, Jared. And certainly across the shoulder there's a free kick.
Now he calls play on there.
Now
he's had prior opportunity.
I can't argue with you. I mean, it depends how far he's moved. No, you're right, BT. He has played on, so he's had prior opportunity.
But was it the play on for the bloke who was given the free kick, not the bloke who received it?
Cross was the person who received the free kick, and he got up and he played on by running off the line.
Okay, if that's
and then he stopped momentarily. It doesn't matter anyway because Wellingham kicked the goal as he takes a bit of a spell, and there's 3 very dangerous players in today's game. So now 48 points. Momentum free in the middle.
There's a bit going on between Big Will and Darren Jolly. A nice old mouthful there at the last ruck duel. Was delivered from the pie to the dog.
Maxwell.
I don't see Barry Hall get pushed out of position when he's set, but Maxwell has got strength to get Barry Hall off his line. Just get him off his line, a terrific spoil. When things are going your way, they're certainly going away a long way, and Maxwell's had a terrific game.
The Pies from halfback. Eagleton. Didak working. Hahn has fought all day. Here's Harbrow. Thinks his way through some traffic. Did it brilliantly to Cross. Cross looking for the overlap running that just wasn't there, and it forces him to kick, and that's what the Dogs don't probably want.
He's looked good up in the forward line, Lake. And Hahn's looked good in defence.
Yeah, Brian Lake's, I mean, he's only been up there 15 minutes, but he was out of position there, caused the contest. More efforts like Brian Lake in the Bulldogs forward line would be is desirable.
So he put him there to try and win the game. A long way behind now. They've got to conjure up some goals from somewhere. There's Maxwell on Hall. Hall just stood tall and marked. Contested style, and Maxwell furious with himself for not making contact. Barry Hall will line up for his second goal of the game.
Brian Lake going forward has actually forced him to make that move, which means he's now a bit outmatched here, I think, Maxwell.
Ball comes in directly in front for his second goal, and he nails that one. No problems at all. It's the 8th Dog goal, and they trail by 42.
You're right, because it speaks a lot for having forwards who can kick goals and make your backman accountable. I mean, Maxwell's been terrific today. He's been running off, he's been free, he's been zoning off when he needs to. But you put a guy like Barry Hall around him, and it's not that easy. I mean, you can't zone off on Barry Hall. And this is the situation that, great mark. I mean, there aren't many players that can stop the spoil of Maxwell and take the mark under that pressure, but Barry Hall's one of them. And Presti now gone onto Barry Hall and Maxwell back on the lake, but they look a lot more dangerous with that setup.
One thing that they have done well, I know June Syracuse, we said, has been relatively quiet, but Heath Shaw's had just 10 disposals for the match.
Yep.
So he's done a pretty good job. He's not out on him at the present time, Gia. He's on Johnson, which doesn't help his case because he's just got the footing.
He has indeed, as Gia heads for the bench. Addison kept it alive. Eagleton did well. Picken really well to absorb the punishment, but comes out the back door. Thomas heading for Medhurst. Gilby, really good effort in the air. Lindsay Gilby with a wonderful clearing kick. Boyd.
They're on in the middle here if they can work it properly. It's gone the wrong way.
Stack's gone outside instead of inside, James.
Yeah, he should have come inside. He had two players inside their own. One of them is Cooney.
And that's what happens when you go outside. You get near that thing called the boundary line.
Yeah, who could have just run straight through the middle of the ground and kicked it into the forward 50. But I suppose that awareness comes with the more football you play. So Dale Thomas coming off the ground, not moving as well as you would have liked. Heavy strapping on his calf. Pickers, is that just a knock, do you think?
No, he's had that strapping on all day, Hurdy. I'm not sure whether he just came in with maybe a bit of a tight calf, but he certainly had it on all day.
Free kick to Fraser. Fraser long. Up they fly. Williams went for the ball. Now Harbrow. Griffin might have a look at some tackle numbers when we get an opportunity here as well, because the Dogs just sharing the ball off halfback. A confident kick, and now Gilby sends it up the middle to Hudson.
And this is where they've had trouble, BT, all night. They haven't been able to work it through.
Boyd to Lake.
He has been fantastic since he went there.
A revelation, and the kick is great to Hall, and Hall now lines up for his third goal.
Well, we saw the Lions last week unravel Collingwood's defence late in the match when Brown and Favola got so far on top that Maxwell had to go down to Favola.
Bit of a blue there between Maxwell and O'Brien at the moment.
And it certainly just changed the total perspective on the match when Lake went forward.
Hall comes in and kicks his third goal. 2 in a row for the Dogs, and they're just trimming it back. Bit by bit, it's back to 36.
You have to think, BT and Jared, that for the Dogs to be in with a chance, they've got to kick one more. Get the margin in to within 5 goals coming into three-quarter time. To see Gilby, he's a beautiful kick of the footy, and this 30-metre pass is what cuts the Magpies up. Lovely kick from Boyd. And as you said, Jared, Lake has just added a new dimension to that forward line, made it look a lot better. Lovely kick over the top. It's the kick out of the defensive 50. You try and go defensive 50 all the way. And here's the words of Maxwell and O'Brien. You get the teammates arguing. No, it's arguing on instructions. It's not a bad thing.
I think Harry O'Brien in the end said, "Yep, you're right."
Yep.
And I'll cop that.
Passionate leader, isn't he, Maxwell?
Yep, very good. Out of the middle, free to Beams, and this allows Medhurst, who's had a quiet return. Didak around the corner, inches the ball to Brown. Difficult ball for a big man to catch. Kept it alive. Picken, Hahn and Boyd, all combining there. On the ground, Picken, good decision to get it to Boyd. He looks inboard, and there's Minson. Got rid of Maxwell.
Get it on.
Oh, it's 50. It's 50.
Come around on the angle. Well, if he's gone off the angle, just call play on.
Just want to see here the turf that comes up. This is a roundabout where Higgins hurt his ankle.
Both players struggling to stand up there.
Yeah, it's had its. I mean, if the late's a new soil, fair enough. But I think it needs to be better than that, BT.
Got some great vision for the couch coming up. I would have thought with that sort of stuff, super slow-mo. Jared.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Big kick this, BT, in the context of the game.
Wanting to set the agenda or anything. But here is Minson from 50 to get it back to 30 points. Minson kicks the goal.
I don't know about you, Jared, but the game has changed dimension with the move of Brian Lake to the forward line.
Well, that's what I think this game's all about in many respects. Win, lose or draw for the Bulldogs, and when the score tells you that it's going to be an enormous comeback if they win. But what they've got to do, I think, is just find out a little bit more about their side when they get the blokes back, because Robert Murphy's been sadly missed. He's playing that half-forward role that Mitch Hahn was trying to play, and he was struggling to get the footy and have an impact. Brad Johnson, we don't know exactly what's going on there. We keep getting told 2 weeks, but big question mark on him. Acker, well, we know what he can do, but can he continue to do it at some stage later in the year? And Kellen, I guess, is the other one that's been out for a fair period of time.
Matthew Boyd this quarter has been sensational. 10 disposals, lifted the Dogs.
There's penalty to Lee Brown. Lee Brown just pushes his man out of the way and takes the mark. And that's the one the Dogs didn't want to give away.
Well, that's the whole flaw. Because Mitch Hahn, if he could hold that down and not get beaten in a one-on-one like that, then you'd have some more confidence to say, righto, well, Brian Lake, we can push forward on a more regular basis.
Lee Brown lines up here for his second goal to stop the run of 3 for the Bulldogs. Brown comes in, kicks the goal, no problems at all, and all of a sudden it's back out to 36 points the difference.
That really is a killer, because I mean, Mitch Hahn was probably out body, but he just looked as if he was not in the right position, needed a spoil.
Once you have a look, BT, as a key forward that you've been, you watch Mitch Hahn, as you see Josh Fraser get the ball down, the Pies get it out Pendlebury, just a quick boot, and if you watch Mitch Hahn here, the best backmen hit hard. They hit the body hard, they don't just touch, do they? They hit hard and put the forward off balance, so they can't take that mark.
Not happy just to compress, but actually get that guy off his footy.
Yeah, well, Scott Thompson is learning that from the Kangaroos. Since he has now been prevented from using his arms to lock up and grapple, he's been bumped off, because when he hits, he just caresses. He doesn't knock them off the line, as you were saying.
Exactly what that was. Well, we've got an interesting minute or so coming up here.
Dogs need a goal.
Desperate for a goal, Hurdy. 36 points down. They definitely need to be within 30. Pendlebury, an unorthodox looking handball. Griffin fought strongly to give the Dogs a chance. This all boils down to the bounce. It favours Hall. Can he keep it alive? Pursued by Tuvey. Didak steps in.
Just the concentration of Magpies there. They had more players around the ball than the Dogs, and that's why they've won the ball. Just 5 or 6 players, the Dogs 2 or 3 around that contest.
Someone for Collingwood just needs to settle them down here and possess the ball. Davis has given away the free. And really, a Collingwood leader out there should have pulled this ball up and possessed it for the last minute.
Going to eagle it out wide.
Nick Malthouse concerned about things on the boundary. Eagleton and Swan in the one-on-one in the air.
I reckon that's the kick that's undone them all night, the Bulldogs. They've gone to a player long. Collingwood just converge and get it to ground.
Didak to Bean, strong overhead. So they'll get a look at another shot. I'd be surprised if the runner doesn't immediately get out there. In fact, there he is, right on the spot. Couldn't see it in the picture, just off to the left. But the runner goes up to Beams and says, less than 30 seconds to go.
Yeah, take your full 20 seconds.
They've made the Dogs kick the ball 50 metres to a free man, which gives the Collingwood defenders a chance to spoil, and then the Collingwood guys are at the feet of that sport ball a lot better than the Bulldogs are.
This would be a big, big blow for the Dogs. Dane Beams for Collingwood from 35 metres out. Good looking ball offline. So a 37-point Collingwood lead here at three-quarter time. That quarter lasting 34 minutes. 16 goals, 7, 103 Collingwood to the Western Bulldogs. 10 goals, 6, 66.
The premiership team, well, we did see themselves. They have to be better in these sort of games.
All right, start of the last quarter. Collingwood by 37 points. Can the Dogs put a dent in that? Hudson, a fine knockdown in the middle. Boyd with the first clearance. Here's Hall, who's working high as a result of Lake being in that forward line, and Minson coming out of the square. So it's a tall Dog setup. Hall's got the free kick here, which is, I think, just out of his range. Minson wants it deep. He and Lake are both stationary. It's a poor kick.
He's hiding behind the umpire, Alan Didak. Just snuck in front, read Barry Hall like a book.
Lee Brown has been very competitive today.
Didak running hard.
And he does receive in the end, gets around hard, and here comes Davis. Ball should have been a little further out in front, doubles back under Harbrow. Davis create opportunity, nothing on this time. Hudson. Williams.
Oh, he's just ducked his head. He should be gone.
He did, got rid of it just in the nick of time, you feel. Didak there, though. Side bottom to McCaffrey. McCaffrey, long ball. Thomas went under it, doubled back. Soccer off the ground, missed. Stumped at the bottom of the behind post. And one goal for Collingwood, and she's all over for the Dogs.
Moles probably should have read that a bit better. He had Didak done under the ball, and Thomas done and under the ball. Thomas, good recovery, unfortunately didn't go through for a goal.
The knock forward, which was not protected from the stoppage. Swan goals, 43-point Collingwood lead.
That's stoppage 101, Jared.
Yep.
Create a path underneath the ruckman in front of the play and get someone to run through. The Bulldogs had to have a player cutting off that area so that Swan, if he pushed off his man, couldn't get through. You see the space that's been created by the Magpies. The player needs to be sitting in that hole to stop that run. That's just far too easy.
Collingwood's 11th goal kicker, Dane Swan, and that is a stoppage classic.
It is I mean, you practice that at training over and over again. You look at it over the video. You see the channel that comes up underneath the ruckman's hand. You try and create a channel either in front of the ruckman or behind the ruckman for someone to burst through. The one in front, very rarely do you see that open. I mean, that just shouldn't be open. There should be a Bulldogs man stopping that happening.
And boys, he did do that terrific knock to Wellingham in the third quarter for a goal. A flip out the back as well, Darren Jolly.
He did. There's Williams. As Boyd was wondering why he didn't get a free kick off the ball. Crowd in the 40s in here on Sunday evening, twilight football, a drizzly cold evening in Melbourne, so perfect conditions under the roof. Here's Hall on the way today. He's got going quite first half. Kicked 3 goals in that third quarter. Hall seemed to enjoy the fact that Lake was poking about down in the forward 50 with him. There's McCaffrey. Griffin. A lot of players around the ball. We'll toss it up.
And Collingwood back to form after a couple of weeks that they lost 2 games in a row. Definitely hit back to form. They're back in contention again, I'd imagine, Jared.
Yeah, lost to Geelong and Brisbane, Jared.
Well, I think that I don't think they're ever out of contention. I think every side's going to have a couple of weeks off mentally. And Geelong are one of the only sides, or the only side in the competition to have a weekend off mentally and still win.
I think we came into this game though thinking that it was going to be an even contest. I mean, I certainly thought these two sides were evenly matched, but Collingwood far and away just outplayed the Bulldogs today.
Who's going to win the Rose Sutton medal? It's still early in the last quarter, but Bertie, if you're casting your vote now, who do you think's been the prominent player in this very, very big game?
I'd like to reserve my votes to the end of the game, thank you, BT, and just have a little bit of a look around.
I would have thought
we'd go a bit harder on that.
I think the result's nearly done now as Kenny kicks it over the line. He's probably the ones that have the influence when game in contest mode that count. But anyway, we'll give you another 5.
I don't think there's an absolute there's not one player that's so far ahead. I think Collingwood have had, definitely be a Collingwood player. Collingwood have had some terrific players. You know, Swan and Pendlebury with possessions and goals. Alan Didak kicked 3. Your man, Leon Davis, has been electrifying with 3 goals. And then you got Maxwell across the half-back line, who's been very good as well.
Cross.
Can I just throw up for Wellingham?
Yeah, been good. Had a good year, Jared.
Done a pretty good job on a good player. Kicked a couple of goals as well. I know you don't like taggers, Hurdy, but sometimes you've got to recognise them.
He's a tagger with skill.
He's very skillful. I think Matthew Boyd's been very good for the Bulldogs, and you know, not a lone hand, but 26 possessions and a goal has been more than steady.
Pickers a night over for Sean Higgins, icing up his ankle. This man of very few words is
well, he is. There's Sue Courtley, the Western Bulldogs physio, one of the very best in the business, caring for Higgins, and it looks like it is. Jared, to answer your question.
I think if Pickers has no comment, it means yes.
Yeah. He's a man of few words, Pickers. But Higgins, that'll be...
Can you make a statement like Gary Abbott's going to go or stay and see if he says nothing?
Yeah, I was just doing a little bit of work with the producers there, guys, but just trying to work out how we can stop BT voting for Leon.
no chance.
Barry Hall's marked, and he's got a chance for his 4th goal.
Of course, you know he's my man too, Leon.
Can I ask you, Pickers, can the Bulldogs win the premiership this year?
No, I don't think they can. And the reason being, I still think there's massive question marks on the makeup of their forward line. And their midfield, to me, seem a little bit one-way players at the moment.
Barry Hall, who's kicked the ball well today, comes in and converts his 4th goal with a lovely kick. 4 in the last half for Barry.
So I'm not as negative as perhaps this game suggests you should be.
No, neither am I, Jared.
Because I just think if you took the best 5
but Jared, when are those players going to come back?
I don't know. That's the question.
If you told me
they weren't coming back.
Johnson is looking doubtful. He might come back, but will he be the Brad Johnson he has been? Acker hasn't played well all year. Is he going to come back in that sort of form? Robert Murphy, a sensational player. When's he coming back?
If you told me that they weren't coming back and they weren't going to reach good form.
There's coming back and there's coming
back.
Well,
if they weren't going to reach good form, then I think the Western Bulldogs are going to be players short of a flag.
Let's assume that professional footballers will reach good form.
So do you think Jono will come back? And I certainly hope he does. I'm a huge
He's
Brad
not going to be the
fan.
24-year-old Brad Johnson. He's going to be the 32-year-old Brad Johnson, or whatever he is. But he's going to be enough to add a valuable assistance to the side,
I think there's still a question mark whether he gets back at all.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The question mark, boys, is their ability to actually beat teams when they've been in big games this year. I mean, they haven't really, apart from the NAB Cup, beaten a good side yet.
But I don't think they can beat them unless they've got absolutely their best side in.
But on what we're seeing tonight, and you're right, they haven't got their best side in. They're not going to be good enough to beat the Geelongs of the world if they can't beat Collingwood.
No, it's spot on.
It's a good point, but it's hard to see anyone beating the Cats at the moment. Here's Cross, chipping ball, and Lake again. Stretches out, needs to go back and convert.
Well, as we saw a couple of years ago, BT, I mean, the Cats can beat the Cats.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, they imploded in front of goals against the Hawks. It wasn't so much the cluster on that particular day. It got them into the finals, but it got well and truly broken apart in the grand final, except it wasn't taken a full toll of because they missed so many goals.
Brian Lake taking his allotted 30 seconds over the top of this, directly in front, 30 metres out. Just to make it consecutive Bulldog goals in the last quarter. Have a look at that for a run-up. Out to the left, out to the right. Kick of the ball hits the post. A rather strange run-up.
I think the more interesting question as to whether the Bulldogs can win the premiership is can the Magpies win the premiership. I mean, They haven't done a lot wrong this year. They've lost to the Cats by 6 goals, who are the best side in it. But on tonight's performance, they've got a lot to offer.
Addison getting back, and where others wouldn't have wanted to go. Here's Medhurst. Lovely ball to Swan. Got the runner over the top. A matter of drawing the player towards him. He does. Here's Luke Ball on the run. Across the face.
Well, I think the answer to that is, Hurdy, if anybody's going to beat Geelong, Collingwood's in as good a position as anybody else. And I reckon one of the guys that could be a key to them hasn't had much exposure. He just came back on the ground. Josh Fraser. There's enormous upside to Josh Fraser, and yet I think people forget just how good he can be. Maybe Josh forgets how good he can be.
Fast hands by the Dogs at halfback. Griffin. Now Eagleton's got some space. He's got Gian Siracusa really wide with Shaw. And here goes Barry Hall. He ignores that and goes short to Lake. Lake with a running attempt from 50. A nice stroke. Hill will mark this. And he's going to bring him around on the angle, Ray. I don't think he marked it that deep, did he? Gee, that's a tough end. This will be a right foot banana. No, he'll kick it into the face of goal. And that's poor defensive work from the Pies. Cooney marks. Adam Cooney. Dogs have kicked 4 of the last 6 goals in this game. The scoreboard look a bit better than perhaps it should. There's a look at it from the Collingwood cheer squad angle as Cooney comes in and kicks the goal. And back to 31 points with still plenty of time remaining. 13.5 minutes, in fact.
Yeah, I still think it's all done, I think, BT. But, you know, the Dogs, at times in this game, for 10-minute periods, have looked really dangerous and made Collingwood accountable. Unfortunately, their kicking has let them down. When they've got to run on that 5-goal barrier in the third quarter, they're looking to break. They just couldn't get it over that line. It's back to 31 points, which is almost 5 goals. 20 minutes to go. One more goal. See what happens. You're looking at me as though I'm talking rubbish.
No, there has been that barrier there, sort of in that 20 to 30 point margin, but they haven't been able to break. But maybe this man can do something about it. Cooney to Lake. Lake great with his body. Maxwell did well. And Harry O'Brien happy to concede that ball to the boundary. It depends on Collingwood's attitude over the next 5 minutes, whether they go ultra defensive or whether they keep on wanting to score. I imagine they still are interested in scoring. Just a little 5-minute period here where they've just switched off a little bit. And this one will go the Dogs' way. Brody Moles
needs to use the ball very well here.
Goes long on the head of Hall and Presti. Tuvey up. Strong was Maxwell. There's Addison, attacked it brilliantly. Wellingham likewise. Collingwood win the little war.
Collingwood all pushed back into their defensive 50. All 18 players back on their side of the ground, making sure there's no chance of a goal getting through. Bulldogs trying to push it across the ground, find a new avenue to goal.
There's Cooney.
He's got to play on. He's got to move the ball quickly.
He does. Handball to Hahn. Hahn can kick it a long way. Hoist the ball. Hill's got the top. Lake from the side.
Well, he kicks this goal, BT. It's back to a 25-point margin. Yep. Still 20 minutes to go. It'll be interesting.
12 minutes to go.
12 minutes to go, sorry. But 20 minutes in sort of real time, I suppose. Yep. 12 minutes on the clock, which will make it, you know, an interesting game. Interesting last 12 minutes of real football.
Brian Lake from only 20 metres out. A must kick. That little run up again. There it is. He kicks the goal. So the Dogs, James, you rightly point out, now back within 25 with just under 12 minutes remaining.
Tell you what, we were asked about the medalist who should win it, but if Brian Lake stands up and kicks 2 or 3 more in the last quarter, we might be changing those votes, I think, Jared.
Well, if he can get them across the line,
he can have it.
He can have more than just the medal tonight.
We might have to just rephrase the conversation about 10 minutes ago, Pickers.
Just have a look at this, boys. You can see Reid copped one there from Grant, and after this has been coughing up blood quite a bit since that particular incident happened. You can see him gasping for air there. He's still out on the track, so hasn't come from the ground, but definitely some discharge coming from deep inside Reed. It's an unusual medical diagnosis, I know. The kick goes forward to Beams. Here is Cloak keeping it alive. Gilby, fast hands. Harbrow need to go and take some big risks here, the Dogs. Harbrow working into Grant. Pushed in the back. He'll get a free. Clumsy from Reed, who seems to have recovered. The play on is important. It opens them up. Here goes Stack on the run. Got options everywhere. Ignores them. Bounce and goal.
We might have a game on our hands, boys.
Dogs back within 19 points. Oh, boy. Wowee.
The Dogs certainly think they're back in the game. Gene Syracuse are there encouraging his team. Terrific play we haven't seen from the Dogs all game. Just movement through the middle of the ground, win it across half-back and then run. This is a terrific run from Stack, backing himself. He had options to a pass and he's just gone for goals.
It's a great effort by Picken too to really work hard to shepherd.
12 minutes ago, the Dogs were down 43 points. Just 19 now.
It's great to see blokes finishing after long runs, keeping their composure and still finishing. And that has quietened a number of Collingwood supporters that, like us, thought that this game was over 15 minutes ago.
Some were even thinking of leaving. Now they're on the texting, letting others know that this one's still very much in the balance. The desperation, I think it was Cross, was absolutely superb. Here's Boyd, handball, Lake. Can he turn around and kick the goal and lift the roof off? He does. Eagleton over-possess in the end. Pendlebury. Collingwood need a bit of possession here at the moment. Here's Beams. Ignores Didak, goes over the top. Medhurst waits. Marks, plays on. Short ball offline, and here goes Tom Williams. On the charge, didn't think about bouncing it. Stack's got to go. Shaw's wrapped him up. And now Swan. Medhurst again, point of the square. An opportunity deep for the Pies. Beams. He's got Hudson to beat. And did well, the big fella Hudson, locked it in. Didn't concede and didn't give away the free.
A couple of times Stacks had options to go left or right. He's gone the wrong direction to his teammates. That'll come with experience, but that's just terrific play by Cross in. And under his Stack, if he had have gone out wide, he had Cooney free coming off the interchange bench.
Collingwood under enormous pressure now from a revitalised Dogs outfit. Here's Thomas. Offside.
The Dogs have got no option, Jared, than just to go quickly. They've just got to move it quickly and spread.
Well, Cross and Cooney and Boyd, they've got a fair bit of the ball in this last 10 minutes or so to generate some run.
Josh Hill, couldn't get it done. Beautiful controlled kick from Heath Shaw to Didak on his favoured left side. Drew the player to him. Let Thomas free. Not enough. Penalty swings around. And a behind there, so that makes it 20 points. 40,813 in the venue today. Pies under pressure for really the first time except the opening quarter. Great comeback from the Dogs, led by Brian Lake, who went forward and remains forward. Just lost a bit of momentum in the last 2 minutes, though, the Dogs. Wellingham chips around. Medhurst couldn't get hold of it. Dogs fluent with their handball in the back half. Cross, really good mark because Reed was going to gobble it up. Cross to Grant. Here comes Hall on the lead. That's ignored. He's really annoyed about it too, Barry.
I think he led too early though, BT.
He did. He was still going backwards. Grant, he comes for the double lead. Got in the way there, perhaps Gia. And Collingwood's O'Brien. Grant had a red-hot crack at it. In the end, it's Shaw off half-back. Still plenty of time. Cloak, juggling mark. Did it. Crowd 150, not on. Kick to Medhurst. Look at the Dogs players. They fall to ground. Medhurst loves kicking around the corner. Touched by Harbrow.
Straighten up and kick it properly through the goals, BT.
He always kicks around the corner. He really does. I like doing it that way.
Tom Williams' job on play, Hurdy?
Yeah, he's been too bad. I think he's been all right at certain times. He didn't handle that marking situation well, but for the night he's been good.
Good mark, Ryan Griffin. No advantage from a mark, of course, and he'll have to go back behind the mark.
Yeah, only 11 possessions to cloak Jared and 1 goal. So you have to say Williams has played well.
21 points the difference. Here's Hill. Through some traffic. Addison came at him. And a good mark by Shaw, because if he didn't mark it, Stack was on.
Once again, you've got to question why the kick around the corner. Only went 6 metres.
Umpire's called him to play on. I don't know why. Strange call from Ray Chamberlain, who hasn't had his best today. Pendlebury.
Collingwood just trying to slow it down and use up the clock. A long time to use up the clock, but
This is the equivalent to a timeout in basketball, isn't it, when another team's got a run on?
yeah.
Just to try and sort of de-juice the game.
Well, they got it wide, and now it's going to be a big overlap.
This is actually good play, boys, because take some time off the clock now. The Bulldogs can't do a thing wrong to get back and win this game.
Yep, it's got to all work for them. You're quite right, Pickers. And here they go again as they wind up. A Boyd kick. This looks good for Lake. Lake in front. Really should have marked that.
Oh, great kick from Maxwell.
How's that for a soccer out of mid-air? 60-metre soccer.
It's a mark that Lake should have taken in there, Goldie.
Jolly's got running support if he wants it. He says no. I'm good. Couple of bounces. Kick top of the square. Leon lurking dangerously. Ball hits the deck. Under enormous pressure, Harbrow. Here's Leon Davis. Boundary line's a win for both sides there. 6.5 minutes. 21-point lead, Collingwood. Dogs can't afford to let the Pies kick one. If they do, the game is dead. So they're alive at the moment. Cooney, risky kick. Grant infringing.
Cooney really had to go in the middle of the ground there because they had 3 Collingwood players up the line to kick to.
Tooby, not a good kick. It was to the disadvantage of Cloak there. Williams, not a thoughtful knock to Thomas. Cloak will run around on his favoured left side. He does that. He puts it into a dangerous spot. Offhand, Swan. Here's Leon. He was nailed in the tackle. Dogs under all sorts of pressure at the moment. And somehow they find a way forward. Gian Siracusa. Kicks high, Minson on the lead. We need ground level support. Knocked down beautifully and deliberately to Grant. Grant's got no one between he and the goal. He's run Reed off his feet. Grant's going to go all the way. The game's alive. 15-point margin. 5 minutes remaining.
What a comeback by the Western Bulldogs. They're taking every bit of advantage of the Pies, who thought they were home 5 or 6 minutes ago, and just love to see this kid. I reckon they've got a real star in this bloke. Not sure what his position's going to be. Might be a tall midfielder, might be a key position player. Whatever he is, he makes good decisions. He's got great athleticism, and he's going to have an impact, hopefully, on the rest of this season for the Western Bulldogs. He can play anywhere, BT, this kid.
He kicked the last 5 goals straight, Jared, here, the Western Bulldogs, to get it back to 15.
You asked me that question again. We heard you about the Bulldogs.
Ball it up again, umpire.
Do you think the Bulldogs can win the premiership,
Jared?
Yeah, actually, I give him a good chance, Jones, yes.
Oh, no. A critical decision going Collingwood's way. Just under 5 minutes now. And Collingwood's ball goes forward. That's a 15-point margin. Very much in the balance. Here goes Hahn. They're just full on attack at the moment. What have Collingwood got? Here's O'Brien. Needs to be precise. He is, with a beautiful kick to shore. Shaw down the line to Swan. Morris did well, but Swan with the tackle on Griffin was equal.
In a 30 words or less, Hurdy, what's happened to the Pies and what's happened to the Dogs to see such a great transition in this match?
Well, Dogs' kicking's got a lot better and they've put a lot more pressure on the Pies. The Pies are a little bit tired. They've worked very hard. They stopped for a while, let the Dogs back into the game. Let's just call the ball though now because they're in another position to kick a goal.
Just run at the moment for the Dogs. Cooney with a kick into Lake. Got back beams. Or Tuvey it was, I'm sorry.
But even just that bit of play by Grant, I know he gave away the free kick, but to knock the ball away from the Collingwood player in Tuvey was desperation that wasn't there in the first three quarters. See here, he gave away the free kick. He didn't have to give away the free kick. His desperation to keep the ball in, I don't think it's been there for the whole game.
Well, they need 3 goals to win, the Dogs, and they've just got 4 minutes. So all of a sudden, the clock is starting to hurt them a little bit. Tuvey's kick's a shocker.
In fact, the result's perfect there.
He actually kicked that straight at me, Alan Tuvey. Sure his teammates appreciated it.
Well, you're a fair-sized target these days. 4 minutes, 3 goals remaining.
Oh, gee, that's a bit rich.
Yeah, it was coming
from you.
Yep, fair enough. Good call. Hudson. Minson over the top. Swan straight to Hill. Hill
did well.
Slipping over Grant. Allowed the mark to Collingwood in their back half. Tuvey has been solid. Pies' last goal in this quarter was at the 1 minute mark of the quarter. Presti Giacomo. A ball that goes inside 50. Cloak couldn't mark it. Davis. Morris there. Davis around the corner. Missed the lot. Out of bounds on the full.
They've got to go now, the Bulldogs. Take it, play on, bring it out this side.
And Leon Davis protected that side, James, by coming to the side of the mark that he thought was the most dangerous for Collingwood. Johnson's got to beat Cooney. Cooney kept it alive. To the left-footed Eagleton. A little chipper, good smother in midair. Maxwell's now got to do it along the ground, but it's coming back at the Pies. Cross thought about the sideways kick. Went the long ball. Over the top, Eagleton. O'Brien got a hand there. Hill out the back, keeps his feet. Goal! We're down to 9 points.
We've certainly got a game, but if I was Rodney Eade, I'd be asking my players why they're running like this right now. They haven't run like this for the first 3 quarters of the game. Cooney, Eagleton. I mean, Eagleton's run from half back and just kept running to have himself in that position. Terrific run. That's the sort of goal you expect from the Dogs all day. Cross has worked tirelessly, getting the ball up to 27 disposals now. Terrific play. The Dogs, the game is not dead. I know they need 2 goals in 3 minutes, but one more goal here will have an exciting end of the game. 43 points up Collingwood were at the 2-minute mark of this final quarter, and now the Dogs are within 9 points. Remarkable comeback here from the Western Bulldogs. It's all about possession for Collingwood, and it's all about risk and attack for the Dogs. Here's Minson, dangerously around the corner. Harry O'Brien couldn't trap it. Lake was tackled, got rid of it. Bit of a flick handball there, I think. Presti, ground level ball now. Thomas, has he got clean hands under pressure? He has. Hill pursues. Thomas needs to commit the body, and he does really well, but it's going to go straight to the Dogs, I think. No, it's not. Hahn met a brick wall, not before he got the ball across. It's a 9-point margin. Minson's going to kick it inside 50. High ball, Hall. Couldn't get it. Tuvey, ball locked in there. Did he get rid of it legally? Some would say no. But the boundary line has arrived. 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Collingwood by 9 points. Great finish to the game, and really a game that for 3 quarters Collingwood thought they had, but what a last quarter we've had.
Every person remaining glued to their seat. Here's Cooney confronting Thomas. Good tackle. Out the back, Pendlebury had a wonderful game. Cross. And look at Lee Brown locking it in between his knees. Deliberately and professionally as Swan comes from the ground in the foreground.
Inside 50 this quarter. It's finally gone the way of the Dogs. Are at 20 now to 15. And it's the only quarter in which they've been on top in that department.
These are vital seconds running off the clock, but
150 years of what?
Ray Chamberlain telling the players 150 years of what? Sure, the rules been the same or something.
Imagine.
Like that. And Collingwood will be happy with this. Could be pinged on that.
They have to get it out, the Bulldogs here, if they want it. They want a chance at this game.
55 metres from the Bulldogs' goal. A minute 32, 9-point lead, Collingwood.
Harry O'Brien extra in defence.
Good kick out of the pack by Ball. Comes to the fresh legs of Beams. He goes to Medhurst. Medhurst with a long ball to Davis. Davis over the top, couldn't hold the mark. Probably needed to just work his man under the ball there. And now is the correct result. Harbrow's dreams for an offence. Got to give and go from Boyd. This is the last chance for the Dogs. They must score from this foray forward. Maxwell holds them up. Now O'Brien. Back to Johnson. On his left. Beams. Fresh. Tuvey runs into a wall of Dogs. Missed McCaffer. Under a minute remaining. Pendlebury.
So often today he's got them out of trouble.
He has. He has been the star out there. Here's Cloak. Kicks to an open square. Over the top. Lee Brown rushes the behind. 10-point margin. I think she's all over now with 36 seconds left.
Yeah, I agree with you, BT. I don't think they can kick 2 goals, but
gonna give it a crack. Here comes Grant again. You've got to have loved his attack on the ball today. Jared Grant for a youngster. Thomas has been consistent in the back half. And now Fraser back in the Collingwood lineup. Collingwood have got to get away with a victory here today. They're 8th of the year. They play Melbourne, Sydney and West Coast along with Port in the next month.
And the Bulldogs did this last weekend against Essendon. They were outplayed for 3 quarters and came back in the last quarters. So Collingwood on the final siren, a well-deserved win for the Bulldogs. It's got to be what could have been if we had played the whole game like we played that last quarter.
Leon Davis was superb today as well with 3 goals. In a big game, all those big game knockers. He performed today. Paul Medhurst returns for Collingwood. I'll be better for that. But today, it was the Magpies by 10 points over the Western Bulldogs. A big win for them after 2 consecutive losses. And the Dogs stuck on 6 wins. Play Brisbane at this venue next week.
Yeah, that is a massive game. Of course, Brisbane lost here last night. If they want to play finals footy, they need to win. And I think if the Bulldogs can just take a little bit of tonight's ladder form into that match, then they should do enough to get themselves across the line. But they'll come up against the Favola and the Brown, etc. But tonight, I think this is a